Hey, Sports Hub listeners,
Crowd of 34,404 on their feet. Swing and a miss. That's the ball game. The Guardians hang on to win it. They take game one by a final score of 4-3. Red Sox came back after the 4-0 hole to make it a game. But in the end, the bullpen too much for the Guardians, and they win it by a run.
The bullpen's outstanding, but getting an outing like this again out of Brian Bayo, this is the best one yet that we've seen from him this year. Just to give up 4, you got to figure out the opener. Somebody got to put up a 0 early on, give yourself a better chance. But tough ball game here late.
The Boston Red Sox last night. We are Alex Barth and Michael Hurley taking you up until 5 o'clock here on the Sports Hub on another rainy Saturday afternoon in New England. Hurley, what's up, man?
It sucks out. It is. Yesterday might have been the nicest day of the year. High 60s, low 70s. Perfect.
I enjoyed yesterday.
This might be the worst day of the year.
What is up with... It's like it knows. It's like the weather knows. You mentioned yesterday was a nice day out, and it was, for the most part.
Until everyone got out of work.
Right, and then you get to like 5:30, 6 o'clock, and here come the clouds. The same thing as last weekend, after it was beautiful all week. And I know I'm not breaking news to anybody, but I need to vent about this because I'm annoyed. The draft gets done. I'm like, there's Sunday kickoff goes on pause. I have my weekends. All right, let's go. I want to golf. I want to go to the beach. And now what was it? Tuesday, Wednesday, it was beautiful out. I did sneak out for a little bit yesterday. Thank you, Matt Dollar, for letting me do that. But for the most part, like, we can't get anything. And I'm here anyway. Everybody today was like, oh, man, the weather sucks. Are you bummed you're not golfing? I'm like, well, I got to work. So if there's a second thing to being out in the sunshine, it's talking sports with you, Michael Hurley.
That's what we're here for. Like, there's going to be people driving around. Terrible day. Still got to run your errands. Still got to go to Home Depot. Still got to get your stuff done. Still got to go to soccer. Not me, though. We had soccer canceled. That was a blessing.
That's good.
Sometimes they don't. And you're like, great. So, people got to do stuff. And I think people might be cranky if they're Red Sox fans. So throw it all in there.
I just, how does it, is it like cyclical? If anybody knows the weather, how the weather works, 617-779-0985. The weather cannot comprehend the days of the week.
Well,
days of the week are a man-made concept.
Was it last year or the year before where it rained every Saturday?
13 in a row. I think it was Saturday and Sunday.
From like May to July, every Saturday had rain. But I don't know, have you seen the memes going around, like the director in The Truman Show?
Yeah.
All right,
he just got out of work.
All right, it was rainy all weekend, all Memorial Day weekend. As soon as they get back to work, make it 75 degrees and sunny.
Again, if you can explain to me how it's like on a 7-day cycle. Last weekend, you mentioned Memorial Day. I had a wedding. I had some friends in town for that. The wedding was in Cohasset, so we were like, let's make a beach weekend out of it, right? The wedding was on Sunday, so everybody came out Friday. Saturday was supposed to be beach day. Sunday, the wedding. Then Monday, we could go to the beach and decompress. And obviously, rainy. We still had a good time, but, it was rainy. It was cold for a lot of it. As soon as everybody leaves on Monday, I was the last one to leave. As soon as everybody leaves on Monday, here comes the sun. What are we doing? Who is allowing this to happen?
It's not right. It's not fair. It's a good day to be inside, though, and we're inside right now, so I don't complain about that.
It is a great day to be inside. It is a great day to complain about the baseball team because it would be rained out here. The replay of the game, Sox in 2. You think Sox in 2 got good ratings off that one last night? I think a lot of people were clamoring for that Sox in 2.
I don't believe so, Barth. I feel like there's a lot to get to, and we just heard the end of the game last night, right?
Yeah.
So theoretically, and like the Bayo thing is a huge thing because they give up 4 runs in the first and lose 4-3. But they made a game of it, right? But this is where the ultimate flaw of this team is. It's why Craig Breslow did a bad job. It's why the team is bad. You have the 9th inning against the guy who leads the league in saves in Cade Smith, right?
Yep.
Do you know who batted? 4 batters. 4 batters came to the plate that inning for the Red Sox.
Oh, in the 9th?
Yep. One of them's red hot. His name's Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. He led off with a single.
Kiner-Falefa.
So you get him, and then you're like, do you bunt him over? It's like, well, you can't. Do you know why? Because Meyer's up. I don't know if he can bunt. 1. And 2, do you bunt him over to get Caleb Durbin up with the runner on second? No. even though he did have a big hit in that game. And then you have Duran strike. I feel like Duran has ended at least a half a dozen games.
Feels like it.
At least he swung. Durbin didn't swing at strike 3. It's just that lineup. You have Kiner Falefa. You have Marcelo Meyer, who's hitting worse than Durbin now. You have Durbin, and you have Duran, who's actually played pretty well, lately. But that's just, you can't win baseball games against mediocre teams in the AL Central. Like, this is what you are. This is where you're going. Everyone sees it, seemingly, except Craig Breslow.
And they are now 10 games under 500 for the first time since the COVID year.
Was that a good year for them?
That was not a good year for them. And it was supposed to be okay. The whole thing was, we have to trade Mookie Betts to reset the finances. It's going to let us keep Xander Bogaerts. Where's he, by the way?
Xander? He's not. They didn't keep him.
Okay.
No.
It's good. It was going to let them keep Rafael Devers.
Briefly, fakely kept him for a little
Okay. And it was going to allow them to, get some higher draft picks for a guy like Marcelo Meyer. And it was a reset to move forward. And here we are 5 years later, and nothing has changed.
Can I give you how when you go to a year, Baseball Reference will give you the top WAR players of that year?
Yeah.
Can I give you the top 5 of the 2020?
Oh, let me see if I can guess. Devers is probably number 1, right?
No, Devers was number 10. He had a 0.8 WAR.
Wow. Okay, hang on. I want to see if I can get this. Well, Xander was still here, so he's got to be on there.
He was 6th.
He was 6th.
With a 1.2.
That's right. A bunch of guys checked out.
I'm willing to guess you have a 0.0 chance of getting 3 out of the 5.
Okay, hang on. Give me a few more guesses here.
Okay.
Jackie Bradley Jr.
He was 2nd.
He got red hot at the beginning of that year. I remember that.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm trying to guess.
He had an 814 OPS. I would venture to guess that was one of his best.
Yeah, I think it was. Okay, so JBJ was 2nd. Who else was... No, that wasn't one of the years San De Leon got weirdly good. Was...
Weirdly large now, by the way.
Yeah. Was Vasquez good that year?
He was, but he was 9th.
He was 9th. Okay. I don't know why I'm not doing pitchers too, but there's
2 pitchers on there.
Okay. Benintendi's probably not on there.
Nope.
I'm going to guess. I don't know. This is bad radio at this point. Just give them to me.
Number 1, best player in the 2020 Red Sox, Alex Verdugo, the 2.2.
Oh, I should have gotten that one.
Then Bradley.
Yeah.
Number 3, Tanner Houck. Remember him?
Yes.
Still on the team.
I want to discuss Tanner Houck. We'll get to that in a little bit. Yeah.
Number 4, Nate Eovaldi.
Okay.
Gave it all he had that year. And number 5, 3 pitchers, sorry, Martin Perez.
Martin Perez, that's
Who could
right.
forget? Like that team. Woof.
So
Ryan Weber was 7th. I don't know who Ryan Weber is. Reliever?
The Red Sox are prone to overreaction. This is as bad as they've been in 6 years. How will they overreact? Or will they consider that at all? As you mentioned before, like Breslow's maybe the one guy that is kind of not removed from this, but is in denial. Is in denial the right word? Delulu, sure. Is that the kids are calling it?
Well, and it's imperative for him to justify his job to be Delulu. And that's why the Red Sox have to make a but who can be the boss?
So
who's looking at Craig Breslow saying, the baseball's not good enough, we need to change the operation? There is no baseball man in charge of the baseball team the way there was when Larry Lucchino was in charge. Like there is nobody there to look at it, assess it, and say, we need to do this better. Here's how we're going to do it.
And even if he had to answer somebody, I think he has an excuse ready. And it's not a good excuse. It's not one that I would take, but it's one I would expect to start hearing from this team as we get closer to the trade deadline. I'll tell you what that is next. We're off and running here. It's Alex Barth, Michael Hurley on the Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub. Boston sports, yeah, we got that covered. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
I think you have to separate, kind of where are we in terms of the standings versus where are we in terms of where we think we should be based on the talent of the team. And we have confidence in the players. We have confidence in the staff. We know that we haven't played as well as we had anticipated, but we fully expect to be in this thing and to turn this around. I think you can see some signs of it over the last month where the pitching has been consistently very, very good. We're playing really good defense, and it isn't showing up in wins just yet, but we're starting to have better at bats. We're starting to get on base a little bit more, have more traffic. Even in this last series where we got swept, we had chances. We had multiple chances, and a couple of different swings, and we win at least 2 of those games.
That's what you want to hear when the baseball team's 10 games under 500 in May. We were a couple swings away from having a chance, but we got swept. That was Craig Breslow. It's Alex Barth, Michael Hurley with you. And I mentioned this before the break. Like, where do the Red Sox go from here? Where does Breslow go from here? And we're already starting to hear it a little bit, and we're going to hear it a lot more from him directly, from sources indirectly. You talked about before the break, Hurley, and he kind of mentioned it there, the team that he built, feeling like that the team that he built is better than this, and how's he going to account for the team that he built? He's going to tell you this isn't the team that he built. He's going to tell you Garrett Crochet's been on IR, has missed significant time. Garrett Whitlock's now on IR, has missed time. Trevor Story's on IR. I don't know how much that's helping his cause, or hurting his cause, not having Trevor Story. And, of course, Roman Anthony, which I want to get into that one specifically. But get ready to hear that it's the injuries. Get ready to hear that this was a playoff team and they just got hurt. Even though before all those guys got hurt, they weren't very good.
No. And they haven't been short on pitching, despite the pitching. Despite Crochet, they have not missed Crochet, which is no slight on Crochet. It's a testament to the pitching.
And, okay, Crochet's missed, 2 starts?
No, he's missed more than that. He hasn't pitched in a month.
Has it been that long?
It's been a while. Time flies.
Okay. I retract
He only
that
made
then,
3 starts. He's made 6 starts, sorry. So he's missed about 5.
Okay. But the point stands. Like, get ready to hear that it's the injuries. Do you buy that? Would this team be competitive if they still had, whatever you want to make a Trevor Story? If Crochet made all his starts and Anthony hadn't missed time, would this team be competitive right now?
No, the only one that hurts there is Anthony. But Anthony, before the injury, had a 675 OPS.
He was not playing well.
He was playing like Jeff Fry. So
shout out Jeff Fry.
Shout out Jeff Fry. Did you watch the clip the other day that went around of Pedro and Roger going the distance at Yankee Stadium? Yeah. What was Jeff Fry doing on the final out? Just fumbling that thing around. That's probably why he was on the...
We did this last time. We mentioned, when I was on with you, we mentioned a bunch of random, 90s, 2000s baseball players. I think we got a Sean Figgins reference in there.
Yes.
So off and running with Jeff Fry. I like that.
But the point is, they put too much pressure on Roman Anthony to be like, listen, hey, Roman Anthony, good debut last year. We know you got hurt. Now you're going to be our best hitter, and we're going to be a playoff team. And not only that, we want to go in a deep playoff run, and you're going to be our guy, all right? And the reality is, that was idiotic. That was this is year 2. He had a good debut last year. We all saw it. Now there's scouting reports on him. Now there's weaknesses that he's going to have to get. They're going to attack your weaknesses until you prove that you can counter it. And he was still in that process. To put all that pressure on a kid who's 21 years old was idiotic. So I will grant you that they'd be better if Roman Anthony were playing. But based on the he should have been in there as a 7-hitter. It's what they did to Meyer. Yeah. They didn't put Meyer as a 2-hitter. They didn't go Anthony Meyer to lead out. They put Anthony 1, and they put Meyer down 7 or 8. You
know why they did? Because they couldn't be bothered to bring in a real hitter. Because the lineup sucked. They couldn't be bothered to get in on guys like Pete Alonso, those sort of players in free agency. They made one legitimate offensive addition. And then when they looked at the lineup, we need a real bat. So now we got to put the kid up there. It was a problem from the beginning. It was going to be a problem from the beginning. I like Roman Anthony. I think he should be a good player. Banking your entire lineup on him when he's 22 years old isn't fair to him and not how you develop a player. You need a bat behind him to protect him. It sure as hell wasn't Trevor Story. They completely blew the construction of this thing, and I really hope we don't start hearing that Craig Breslow is safe because of the injuries. I really hope we don't hear that. Where are you at with the Roman Anthony thing? When he first got hurt, it was reported to be a wrist sprain. And he shouldn't need IL time, or if he went on the IL, he'd be back as soon as he could return. I believe the eligibility, that would have put him back on May 15th. It's now May 30th. He still hasn't played. Yesterday, not Craig Breslow, Chad Tracy tells reporters he's getting shut down for the second time. He was hurt swinging off a tee. There's now some people are questioning his durability. Is he soft? I'm more, and maybe he is, I don't know. I think when there's a pattern of these things, you look at the team, and how many times is this now where we've heard from the Red Sox an injury isn't a big deal, only for it to drag on for months. And I'm not saying this is going to drag on for months. We're at a little under a month now.
Was it May 4th?
Twice as long as they told us it was going to be.
You're going to get to a month.
Right, we're going to get to a month. And, they said he shut down a couple days, so at least a month. You're right. I don't know. Maybe he's soft. That could be part of it. If he can play, you don't want your players to be soft, but if you get 130 games out of him a year and he's good and he shows up in the playoffs, I don't care.
Barth, soft means could play, doesn't want it. And I don't think that's the case.
Or like low pain tolerance.
Yeah, and we don't know the kid, so I guess anything's possible, but I don't want to put that on him. I think what's the bigger issue here is the Red Sox didn't believe him. Remember he got hurt on the road? Were they in Detroit?
Yeah. Yeah, he stayed in the game.
But they took him out, and then they sent him home to see a hand specialist.
Yeah.
But they came out that night and said, it's no big deal. He's fine. He's just going to go get double-checked. He'll wait for us in Boston. We'll be there in a couple days. They didn't believe him. And he's telling them, like, no, I have this pain. It's real. And then they go out and downplay it in all their radio appearances and all their little public appearances.
Well, we heard it's not a tear. It's a strain. And then he comes out and says it's a tear.
Yeah, well, a sprain is a tear. So, like, they're fighting over the semantics of it. And they didn't believe him. And they don't believe him. And he has to the point where he has to come out. And I know you're talking to our competitor. But he had, if you listen to his voice in that comment, it's like, why do I have to clarify? Like, why is Sam Kennedy talking about my finger when he doesn't know his ass from his elbow? All due respect, Sam Kennedy, not a doctor. And he's out there talking about my finger. Now I have to come clarify it. This is a guy that is supposed to be the face of your franchise for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Why are you being dinks about his finger injury?
Maybe you're talking about them debating semantics. Maybe this is debating semantics. Do you think the Red Sox, would you say they lied about it?
They don't believe him.
They don't believe him. Okay.
Believe him.
Do you think they don't believe him? Do you think because I read it a different way. I think they're just addicted to positive updates.
But what is that?
They wanted to give the positive.
Benefit?
Them in the very short term.
It's like in like that moment.
I mean, do you remember?
Imagine if Barth, I was like, hey man, I'm giving you $1 million. And you're like, yes. And in that moment, they're like, all right, can I have it? And I'm like, no. That's essentially what it is.
Do you remember last year after they traded Devers when Breslow said we think we'll win more games now than we otherwise would have, and this is going to give it blah, blah, blah. They just want to say the right thing in the moment, I think is their PR strategy. I read it more like that. I'll give you a third one, whether or not they believe him or not. Is it possible they just didn't understand the severity of it? The doctors told them whatever the initial check was, and they ran with it. And sometimes those initial checks are wrong. And you do the initial check and sure, hey, this is what we think he did. We're going to go get him x-rayed and see what the real deal is.
Well, they checked his wrist. His wrist is fine.
Whatever the heck. Did they misunderstand it? Did they? The whole
then it's
thing.
His finger, and he clarifies medically the term, the CMC or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like he comes out and is like, you can look it up on WebMD. This is what it is.
Don't look up things on WebMD.
Oh, you're dying.
Only going to scare yourself.
You're
Do
dead.
not. You have a little cough, you look up WebMD, and it's all over.
You're dead.
You're cooked. But
get your will in order.
To me, it just felt like they have this gut reaction to positive spin. They have this gut reaction to everything.
Toxic positivity.
Leslie Nielsen in Naked Gun. I forget if it's the first one or the second one where the factory's exploding behind him, right?
Yeah.
Nothing to see here. Please disperse. Go to your homes. Everything's fine. Not so much.
I just don't know who that benefits because you say
it buys him a little bit of time.
He'll be back soon, and then he's not back. And like,
well, because they can say there was a setback, things changed, yada, yada, yada. And this is my other point. Sorry to cut you off. This is my other point. He got shut down swinging early last week. He was trying to come back. He was taking swings off a tee. He got hurt. He was hurting him. They shut him down. He then comes back this week, takes swings off a tee. They shut him down. Are they sure he should be swinging?
But he clearly shouldn't have been.
Are they trying to rush him back to fit this timeline that they've manufactured?
I'm not sure. I'm sure he will. And that's the thing. Like, that's where I don't want to throw soft in because, like, he's trying to come back and it's not possible. And
some people might say, all right, it's going to be sore when you're swinging. That's part of the rehab. You work through it. We don't know to what extent this pain is.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you want to compare it, like, remember Wilson Contreras? I forget where they were. Kansas City, maybe. It might have been before that. He took a check swing, and he's flexing his hand.
Yeah.
They actually changed. They gave him an axe handle because his hand was all messed up, and he hasn't missed any time. He might have missed a game. Maybe, I guess, they're saying just play through it, but the way you hold your bat's pretty important. We're not gonna
and you got to have a good grip on that thing.
We're not going to get into the technical aspects of swinging a bat, but holding it, pretty important. So, I don't know. It was compounded, too, I thought, with Chad Tracy sort of last night, talking about hamstring tears and how have you ever torn your hamstring?
I don't think so.
I can actually I've torn every muscle from my hips down.
Okay. I've definitely pulled it.
The hamstring is such a big, strong muscle; it can repair itself very well.
Hamstring's upper leg, right? I always get
The back of your
hamstring,
thigh.
quad,
The back of your thigh.
calf. Okay.
And it's so big and strong; it can repair itself pretty good. Your quad is pretty big, strong muscle.
Yeah.
If you pull a calf or tear a calf, very much it's such a smaller thing. It takes a lot longer. And they're talking. Chad Tracy's talking about a finger ligament repairing itself the same way a hamstring does. It's like that guy definitely shouldn't be talking about this injury. There's a lot of unqualified people speak. Maybe they should have the doctor speak on it because Sam Kennedy and Chad Tracy are not the guys to talk about it.
Again, it's just a circus. It's a circus over there. They're done, right? Like, you're not investing in
Yeah.
any sort of bounce back.
I wonder, because we're talking about other stuff,
Yeah.
I think we're past the point of talking about the individual games as they happen, you know?
Okay.
Right? Like, we're not going to break down the managerial decisions in the 7th inning.
You kind of did earlier about Meyer maybe bunting, maybe not, but yeah.
That's as much, like, you know, I think we're past that, right?
We're talking about them in the macro because it's no longer the 2026 Red Sox, no longer the story. The direction of the organization is now the story, which is exactly where you want to be on May 30th.
And so they are now 5 out of the 3rd wild card.
Which, by the way, is
1, 2, 3,
ridiculous.
with 5 teams ahead of them.
Is ridiculous.
But they're 2 games out of last place in the American.
How many games out of the 2nd wild card are they?
An extra 1.5, so 6.5. So they're
Okay,
11.5 behind the real wild card.
In a proper league, they would be done. But we have to have baseball and football have to have this stupid 3rd wild card, 7th playoff team that it just it's annoying.
That's where we
Kills me.
start next break. Big market tease here.
Yeah.
You have got to be the team because the 3rd wild card deludes so many teams into thinking they're A, competitive, and B, are going to win a World Series. This is your chance. Craig Breslow loves being the smartest guy in the room. This is your chance to actually outsmart them by not being that delusional team.
There you go. What should they do? When is the deadline this year? It used to always be on July 31st, and now they
still be
change
the
it.
31st or the 2nd.
Well, so they would do it on the 1st when they didn't want it on a Sunday. So they would do it on the 1st, and it was on a Sunday.
August 3rd.
Monday, August, and it's at 6 p.m., not 4
p.m.
p.m. They move that thing around all the time. More on the direction of the Red Sox, plus your calls. I see you guys on the line, 617-779-0985. We'll get to you right after this. It's Alex Barth and Michael Hurley on the Sports Hub.
We failed to reach that alignment.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5. Michigan's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
The market is the market. These things, as we talk about every offseason, don't happen in a vacuum. The Red Sox, in theory, could use a right-handed bat, so they can't. They can, in theory, sign one in the offseason if they just meet the price. With trades, it's trickier because a team who would be selling right now is waving the white flag to their clubhouse on May 28th, and that's a hugely bizarre, signal to send. I mean, think about how people reacted to in a different set of circumstances last year, the Red Sox doing it with Devers. So it's going to be, I think, a seller's market where there's going to be, if it stays bunched up, there's only going to be like 5 or so teams that are really going to go all in and selling. You're going to get a premium for those players. And that's just kind of the product of a league in which, there's a lot of teams that had really low expectations that are kind of outperforming them. I mean, think about, the A's obviously are right there. The White Sox,
Nationals,
Tampa,
they're right
in the
there.
American League. Some of the, right. And all these teams you'd think would be potential sellers. It's going to take a lot because they invested so much in their clubs for them to sell. So we're kind of in bizarro world that way. We'll see if it evens out before July 31st.
That was Craig Breslow on the direction of the Red Sox. It's Alex Barth, Michael Hurley. We said we were going to take your call, 617-779-0985. But first, I try not to look at Twitter too much while we're on the air here, because I want to focus on the show. I want to focus on the conversation. I want to focus on you, Hurley. I want to focus on you people.
Thanks, man.
Obviously, got to peek every once in a while for breaking news, but we both just looked during the break, and apparently there was some sort of boom explosion that people are hearing. Friends texting me from Newton.
I've
Waltham,
seen tweets, Peabody to Rhode Island.
I've seen the Cape. Neither of us heard it. I guess it was around 4:10. If you open up social media, you can find it. Are we just a-holes for missing it?
Well, we were yapping. We got our cans on here in studio. We're
So
locked
George just played it. There's a video of it going around on social media. George, play that again. There it is.
in. Sounds like fireworks, but I don't think you're getting fireworks.
You're not getting fireworks that far.
Nope.
So a lot of people think meteor, which would be kind of cool. That's ominous, though. That's the isn't that just the Law and Order?
Yeah.
Bum.
It sounds,
That's the right show, right?
yeah.
Or is that SVU? No, it's Law and Order, yeah.
Sounds very like Avengers-y.
So if you heard it, since we missed it, and you want to fill us in, 617-779-0985, and we'll keep you updated if we get
live confirmation. My mom heard it in Wellesley.
in Wellesley. We should get a map out and just plot points on the chart. Oh, we use that city game thing I was telling you about. There it is.
My wife tells me she heard it as well.
She heard it? Okay. So we're this is going to be like a thing. Everybody in Massachusetts, remember the day of the random explosion.
Well, have you ever
And we're going to
felt-
be the only ones that didn't hear it.
I felt one of the earthquakes. Have you ever felt one? When you
I've
see it on
never
Twitter?
felt an earthquake here. I felt one in San Francisco when we were at the Super Bowl, and I got mocked for it on the air.
Really?
Yes, because nobody else felt it. Because they were all in the big, sturdy convention center, and I was on the 5th floor of this 100-year-old hotel. And I never felt an earthquake. It's more swaying than shaking.
Yeah.
But
I felt it, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, and I was like, yes, finally, because you see it on Twitter and you feel left out, like you were driving, you missed it. So this one we did miss out, but this one's got me a little scared.
so we Roger tweets in, heard it in Framingham.
Well, and one thing, Barth, when it is an earthquake, immediately it shows up on their little earthquake sensors, and you'll see all the meteorologists be like, it was an X magnitude earthquake centered here. This is not that.
So Nick Stewart, who's a space flight meteorologist on Twitter, shared that there's a flash on the radar, which is pretty distinctive of I don't even know what this first word is. Bolide meteor reentry east of Boston. This is likely the source of a loud boom explosion. I've never seen a meteor. That would be cool to see. I guess we missed it.
I've seen a shooting star.
I've seen a shooting star, but like way up, not one like close.
Was not in my atmosphere.
There was one like last week that crashed into a volcano, I think in like South America. I don't know if you saw that video. That was cool.
I didn't see that.
That was pretty cool. But all right, so meteor. That's neat. We still want to hear from you if you heard it. Let us know what we missed. 617-779-0985. But first, a Red Sox call. Let's go to Mr. Party in the car. What's going on, man?
Hey, so I think that Meteor, I wonder who's crashing harder, the Meteor or Craig Breslow. Because Craig Breslow is just, he literally has turned me into a Yankees fan, this entire front office, because they literally just talk out of the side of their mouth. They're lying about, Roman Anthony, who is their, potential superstar. Yeah, go ahead and tick him off. That's a great idea. And they just literally frustrate me. And then the other worry is that legit, during the trade deadline, he's so worried about his job, he's going to do what he did last year, where it's like you take one step in and one step out, and you're literally not going to help your team. Because right now, if you trade Aroldis Chapman to a contender, you trade Wilson Contreras to a contender, maybe you get a prospect back, and hopefully you don't botch it like you did Tibbs or any of the other prospects that you've traded out, or Kyle Harrison. But he is just extremely infuriating to listen to, and the Red Sox are the epitome of that dog and the fire behind them, and he's like, "Oh, it's fine." That's literally what they are. But I'll hang up and listen.
Before you go, how's the Yankees hat fitting?
It's fitting great. It's awesome. I'm hate watching the Red Sox right now. Nice. Like yesterday, 4-3. I was like, "That's awesome. That's great." So it's fantastic to see. And last thing is, he takes himself as an analytical guy. I don't know the advanced analytics, but I know there's a Baseball Savant page that you can see like how a hitter is doing. If you check out Caleb Durbin and see what he's doing, he is not red in all the categories that we want a power hitter bat to be. You get rid of Devers, yeah, granted he's not doing well, but he's also in a tough ballpark in San Francisco. But you get Caleb Durbin, look at his exit velocity, average exit velocity. It's like this is your coup de grace or whatever it is. This is your thing that you love to do, and yet you botched on that. So it's also frustrating to see like people like Kyle Harrison are becoming ace on the Brewers. So anyway, but I'll let you guys go ahead.
All right, thanks for the call. This is going to be the big talking point around the Red Sox for the next 2 months. Do you trust Craig Breslow to be the one handling the deadline?
I can handle that in less than 2 months. Nope.
Yeah,
especially if he's doing it to save his job. Like I think the Bruins comparison is very interesting because Don Sweeney clearly had job security when he sold off half the team last year. When he traded away Brad Marchand, Brandon Carlo, Charlie Coyle, like he sold off half the team and got a ton of return for it because someone told him, this year's not it. We trust you to turn this around quickly by selling off pieces. I personally wouldn't give Craig Breslow that freedom because I don't trust him to make these deals. Like, the Sonny Gray and Wilson Contreras additions were nice. But the mention there, like the Kyle Harrison trade, brutal. Yeah. There's so many brutal trades that I wouldn't trust him to make those deals. But you either have to guarantee him that and let him sell off, because if you let him sort of fight for his job here, it's going to set the franchise back for years. Years.
I'm with you. But they just heavily vouched for him.
Well, that happened.
Just a few weeks ago after they fired Cora, which was a mistake at the time. They should not have done that. And they've put themselves, again, the short-term positive spin is going to hurt them in the long term. They fired Cora. They needed a rallying point. It became Breslow. And now they're in a point where, like, can you fire him after that press conference?
Yes.
Probably not.
Do you want to get silly? You want to get silly? Because there was talk of this for years, and I think Cora was open to it. You fly down to Puerto Rico, hat in hand. Hello, Mr. Cora. It's me.
Hurley is literally taking his hat off.
It's me, John Henry. Would you like to be the president of our baseball operation, sir? We need a baseball mind to run our operation. Nobody knows what they're doing. There's no one in charge. Everyone's a clown. We need a baseball man in charge. Could you do it, sir, please?
They should have given him the Brad Stevens treatment like 2 years ago.
There was talk of it.
Instead, you're going to get the Guinness World Record for the fastest a door has ever been shut, which would probably give us, you heard that boom. I wonder if we'd hear that door slamming from up here. Let's go to Seth in Providence. He heard the meteor. Seth, what do you got? What can you tell us?
Yeah, so we were leaving the Little League field because the game got rained out, and all of a sudden it was like a massive boom, like out of nowhere. We weren't sure if like trees fell or, they're knocking down school buildings down here, but it was quite intense and quite loud, and some friends all over the state have saying they're hearing it too. So it's not just up in Boston right now.
Did you hear it or just feel it? Or did you just hear it?
We heard it and felt it.
Okay.
I actually ran out of the house because I thought my neighbor's tree fell on my brand new roof. So, we could feel the ground shake, and you're hearing it. And people are saying sonic boom, like aliens, and classified jets. Who knows? But we definitely felt it and heard it right in Providence. So,
all right. Thanks for the call, Seth. Trevor in Ashland also heard it. Trevor.
Hey guys,
Hey.
I'm actually on the Freemium Ashland line, and I was working. I heard it through busy breakfast hours, and I thought it was thunder at first, and they were telling me, "No, you're hearing things," and I'm like, "I swear to God, I heard it," and I thought maybe it was just the trains because we are parked behind. The trains are parked behind our business, so I don't know. It was very strange.
All right. Thanks for the report, Trevor. So
It's unsettling. I don't feel good about this.
a lot of people are saying they felt it. Todd tweets in he felt it in Methuen. Nick wants to know how it affects A.J. Brown being traded.
Well, are we going to get to June 1st? Are we going to get to June 1st?
So
I'm the thing. Like when Kyle Shanahan or John Lynch, I forget who it was. Kyle Shanahan, right? That was like,
yeah.
There's no guarantee we'll be here next week.
Yeah, because he knew Jimmy Garoppolo sucked, but he didn't know the polite way to say it.
Right. So, like,
by the way,
there's a reason we say these things. Tomorrow's not guaranteed.
Had a chance to add Tom Brady, Kyle Shanahan did, and instead chose the guy that 2 years later he was saying, well, the world could end.
Yeah.
That's what you get.
One more description here from Aaron Marinofsky.
Oh, yeah?
He tweeted, I thought a tree fell through my house.
So that's and we had that caller say he thought the tree fell on the roof, too.
Very distinct. Have you heard a tree break, snap?
Yeah, that's more of a crack than a boom, though.
Yeah.
Well, so there's the tree cracking and the tree hitting the ground. Those are two different sounds. Because when a tree falls, you get the slow and then the faster cracking noise.
Provided someone is around to hear it.
Well, or not. We have 2 hours if you want to get into the philosophy of trees falling in the woods. My buddy was at Augusta the day the tree fell a couple years ago at the Masters.
Oh, I remember that.
And then like 2 hours later, you wouldn't have known there was a tree there.
Yeah.
They just were all over
it. Was like a crime scene cleanup.
But that's crazy. Got a text from a friend. We almost got Armageddoned. There's a lot of these like are small. So I don't know. I'd be if there's a video, or I don't know if the scientists can figure out like how big it was. Assuming it was a meteor, which is what the smart people online are saying. Eric Fisher, who's does the weather for WBZ, was talking about it being a meteor, likely being a meteor.
I'm Googling what is a meteor. It's a word I've heard a million times. Probably knew it in third grade, but
there's meteor, asteroid, and comet.
And a meteoroid.
I thought meteor was just short for meteoroid. I assumed that was the same thing.
No, according to Google, a meteoroid is a small chunk of rock or metal traveling through space before it hits the atmosphere.
Okay.
A meteor is the light streak or the vaporizing rock as it streaks through the... So it changes from a meteoroid into a meteor when it enters the atmosphere.
And then what's an asteroid and what's a comet?
See, now I'm out of my depth here.
Okay. Because I've always thought those are... I know they're not interchangeable, but I've always kind of thought of them as...
I think an asteroid's way up in space.
I think... So there's the asteroid belt. I think asteroid means it's like out there. It's not... But in the movie Armageddon, they call it an asteroid. One of the best so bad it's good movies ever, by the way.
Great with the DVD commentary on, too.
Oh, yeah.
What was asteroid and what was the other term? Comet?
Comet.
Ooh, what's the difference between a comet and an asteroid?
I have. Well, you're looking that up, and we need to go to break soon. The pantheon of so bad it's good movies, I have just two. And I will watch them anytime they are on. They make me laugh every time. Armageddon and Con Air.
Yeah, Nick Cage with that hair.
Con Air rules, dude.
Yeah.
Con Air, that's such a stupid movie. The cast is unbelievable, too.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
By the way.
Okay, so take me to science class here.
Comet, typically icy bodies composed of frozen gases, dust, and rock, while asteroids are primarily rocky and metallic.
So it's the composition.
I will retain none of this information, but I'm happy to pass it along.
Unless more of them hit, then maybe we have to know it.
Where's it going? Like, did it land or is it just vaporized?
I think they break up. They have to be really big to get through, I think, because it's definitely, I've seen like a lot of them break up in the atmosphere. Like it's kind of a regular thing. We're just the sound of us Googling
two
things.
Not science, folks. I don't know your whole history academically, but I'm guessing science was not your major.
All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to look this up. We're going to hit the break. We're going to look it up. We're going to come back to it with science facts plus your calls. If you can educate us on outer space, and I'm a guy that's interested in outer space. I thought the Artemis thing was super cool. There was that rocket that blew up the other day. Did you see that?
I saw the video and, like, shame on me. I didn't read even what it was. I'm like, damn, that's a big explosion. Next.
That might have been the biggest non-nuclear explosion, man-made nuclear explosion in history.
I saw a video someone took from a plane while landing in Orlando from, like,
Orlando's not close.
Probably 70 miles away, and you could see it pretty clearly.
Yeah, it was nuts. So we're gonna hit a break. We're gonna look this stuff up. We'll come back. If you want to talk about the meteor, whatever it was, the boom, you want to tell us what you heard, because us chuckleheads were blabbering on and missed it. This thing that everybody's going to be talking about. 617-779-0985. The Red Sox are on the table. I do want to get to some Patriots stuff as well. I was down at OTAs at the beginning of the week. Another one coming up this week. Some thoughts on that. The A.J. Brown trade saga as well. All of it. Plus your calls. 617-779-0985. Don't go anywhere. It's Alex Barth and Michael Hurley on the Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Hey, it's the Seeger Bar guy, and I got a...
here. It's Alex Barth and Michael Hurley. The only two guys that didn't hear what apparently was a meteor hitting I think it was like just north of Cape out over the bay, it looks like, based on the map. So I looked this up. We were flailing before the last break trying to get some science information. I've pulled up nasa.gov. What are the differences between an asteroid, comet, meteoroid, meteor, and meteorite? An asteroid is a small, inactive, rocky body orbiting the sun. A comet is a small, at times active object whose ice can vaporize from sunlight. A meteoroid is a small particle from a comet or asteroid orbiting the sun. A meteor is the light phenomenon, as you had said. And a meteoroid is after it passes through the atmosphere. So you were saying, like, where'd it go? What happened, right? How big was it? So according to NASA, every day, I'm reading directly from their website here, every day Earth is bombarded with more than 100 tons of dust and sand-sized particles. About once a year, an automobile-sized asteroid hits Earth's atmosphere, creates an impressive fireball, and burns up before reaching the surface.
What the hell?
So maybe that was it.
I've been living all these years of my life without knowing that. Just fine. Thank you very much.
Well, there's so many. I'm curious how far away it was heard, because if they're hitting in all parts of the world like once a year, how many of them were on the other side of the earth, and we didn't hear anything like that. Rajiv in California has a thought on this. Rajiv, I'm guessing you didn't hear it in California. I feel like that would be a bigger story.
No, I'm bummed that I sort of missed that. But yeah, okay. You were partially right when you were sort of describing that breakdown of the difference between the meteor, meteoroid, and the only thing you missed was the meteorite, right? So the meteor, as you said, right, a meteoroid is floating in space. A meteor, as it streaks through, is what you call a shooting star. And if it strikes the ground and there's anything left, that's called a meteorite. And as you were talking about the differences between asteroids and comets, and that's the reason why, as it gets closer to the sun, the more ice and stuff it has, you'll see a tail, and that's the comet, whereas the asteroids are mostly rock. And if it explodes in the atmosphere, kind of like what happened to you guys, that's called a bolide, right? So that'll generate a sonic shockwave and a bright flash of light. So that's like a meteor that explodes in the atmosphere.
All right. Thank you, Rajiv. Very, very informative. Because that was that other word I didn't recognize before.
So meteorite is like what you can capture when it actually is on Earth. You're like, this is a meteorite.
Let's go to Joe in Walpole. Joe.
Hey, guys. I'm not going to be nearly as insightful as Rajiv, but when I was listening at, the crossover from Big Jim and Gasper, as soon as you guys, started speaking, my house shook so much I got up and looked outside to see if a limb had fallen on my home or something, which has happened. And you mentioned it earlier, when that earthquake outside of York Beach, Maine, shook maybe 18 months ago. So my house shook and I felt it. And I was making calls to friends saying, did you feel that? And some did, some hadn't. But today I felt it. When I went online quickly, it said if you live near Medfield, they felt it was, and this is AI, Google or whatever, saying it was likely a military plane breaking the sound barrier, which does happen, I guess.
All right, thanks for the
Love to hear your thoughts.
Thanks for the info, Joe. Thanks for filling us in. Yeah, sonic boom's obviously the first thought, but and that double tap sound, I think that's how sonic booms work. It's usually two. Maybe the I want to make sure I get my terminology right here. Maybe the meteor is the light. Maybe the meteoroid broke the sound barrier. I was wondering, was one boom it hitting the atmosphere, and then the second boom was it exploding, disintegrating, whatever you want to call it. You know who will actually know the answers to these questions, or I think we'll know the answers to these questions.
More than we do.
Eric Fisher, chief meteorologist for WBZ. He's going to join us after these headlines from Michael Hurley here on the Sports Hub.
From the Telefair Tiger Studios, this is Boston's home for sports. Touchdown! The flagship station of the Patriots ruined the Celtics. WBZ and HD Boston 98.5, the Sports Hub. Leslie Media Group station celebrating 65 years of broadcasting. Sports Hub headlines.
Literally, as Alex Barth was educating you about meteors and whatnot, the Champions League final was wrapping up, and it was intense. PSG and Arsenal went to penalties. Arsenal needed a goal in the fifth round of the penalty shootout to tie it up, but missed the whole damn net, Barth. PSG are your champions
You
everywhere.
just can't miss the net there.
Just anything.
I'm not a big soccer guy, but I even know
anything
that.
but missing the net.
Got to put it on the net.
Get saved. Yeah, your shot saved, whatever. You can't miss the net. PSG wins that one. Fireworks, tears, everything. Speaking of tears, the Red Sox lost 4-3 last night in Cleveland. They've now gone 1-6 after sweeping the Royals last week. They'll try again today, though. Sonny Gray will be opposed by Parker Messick, who is 6-1 with a 2.24 ERA. First pitch at 4:10 in Cleveland. And tonight, Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals, Spurs at Thunder. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Awaken 180. Reach your health and weight goals with Reclaim by Awaken 180, a 10-week medication-free plan with weekly results and a finish line. Visit awaken180weightloss.com. I'm Michael Hurley. Next update in 1 hour.
Actually coaching the game, or it's just that is. I feel so strongly about that. I can't even tell you.
Boston Talk Sports here.
What do we got?
The Sports. The Bruins, the Celtics, the Patriots, the Sox, the Revs, and you. We're Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Back here on the Sports Hub, Alex Barth, Michael Hurley. We've done some Red Sox. We are reacting to the supposed meteor, if you want to. That makes sense. Last caller said it happened right when we came on the air. So I probably just thought that shaking was just the aura of the two of us getting ready to do a radio show.
Probably.
That had to have been it.
Plus, we were trying to sneak in like an hour of conversation into 1 minute with Gasper.
Yeah. A little minor league baseball talk.
Yeah.
So maybe we get some more info from Eric Fisher. He is the chief meteorologist at WBZ. He was the one that shared the video that kind of explained it being a meteor. Eric, thanks so much for hopping on with us here.
Hey, guys. A little excitement of things falling from the sky here today. We've had some rain, some snow, some sleet, and apparently meteors, too.
I actually want to get to the rain and stuff. It was funny. I was thinking about reaching out to you before any of this happened, just because we're all so sick of the rain. But let's talk about this. So is this like confirmed it was a meteor, or are we pretty sure that's what this was?
Yeah, we can confirm it now. I mean, there are no mysteries in the world anymore, which is kind of sad, right? You know, like 150 years ago, people would have gone through this and it was some like benevolent God punishing us for whatever horrible thing we did this week. But no, now we can just use our satellite systems and go, oh, there it is. So that's what we did, basically. There's a certain tool on satellite imagery that shows when these meteors come into the atmosphere, and then they emit a lot of light, a lot of energy, and they show up like lightning. So there's a lightning mapper tool on one of our satellites, one of the GOES satellites. And since there is no lightning at the moment, and there's a very bright flash right around the South Shore, there's your meteor. So mystery solved a bit, I guess.
So this, one, it sounds like this is something that's common that happens. And two, it broke up, right? It didn't hit?
So vast majority will just break up, and friction in the atmosphere will just burn up any of the rock that's coming into the atmosphere. Sometimes little fragments and pieces can make it to the surface. This one was entering very close to the ocean, so if anything did make it to the ground, it might be in the ocean. Every once in a while, you do hear about a piece that comes, crashing through someone's rooftop or lands in someone's yard, or you find it in the woods. Haven't had any reports of that yet, but in all likelihood, it broke up in the atmosphere as it was coming in.
Eric, I am 39 years old. I'll never turn 40, but I'm 39 years old, and never once do I remember this happening. Like in Barth's over there reading NASA explaining how stuff like this happens every day. How is this the first time me and many others are ever hearing about this?
I mean, have you ever seen a tornado in person?
I've seen videos though in Twister. Have you ever seen Twister? 1996, Bill Pullman.
I mean, obviously, who are you talking to?
Great film. But no, I've never seen one. But I guess I've never seen like.
Exactly, but we have hundreds and hundreds of tornadoes every year in the United States. But most people never see one. And we have things that happen in space all the time, and most people will never encounter it. But every once in a while, it happens to be on your little speck of the Earth and causes the excitement in your little orbit, if you will. And so that's today. Because me too. I have never been privy to hearing a meteor explode on reentry, and today was that day.
Is there something that makes us here like less likely to get that?
No, not necessarily. It's just that the Earth is big, and meteors like this are fairly uncommon, at least, less common than tornadoes hitting anyway. So it just happened to be our luck of the draw today that one was popping into the atmosphere here. Just the other day, there was a similar one that they heard over South Carolina. So we're going through apparently some portion of the space highway where there's a few of them that we're encountering. It's always a little unsettling because if there's a really big one, we'd have a different set of problems on our hands.
We'll save people the image of that. Why the two booms? Because we played it earlier.
It sounds like the Law and Order guy.
The video's out there. Yeah, it's boom, boom. Is that it, like, hitting the atmosphere and breaking? Is that it breaking the sound barrier? Do you know why it's two and not just one?
I'm not positive, to be honest. I know that obviously these things can be moving about 38,000 miles per hour. So the process is happening very rapidly. There might have been an initial sonic boom and then another boom from when it was kind of breaking up into fragments and exploding. One could just be speed-based and the other is more on the explosion side of it, but I don't know that for sure. Even though we're called meteorologists, we actually don't study meteors. It's a bit of a misnomer. Weather is more of our bag than NASA scientists who might really dig deep into this stuff, but that would be my best guess.
I'm glad you said that because I almost made that joke when we brought you on. I was like, no, that's stupid. You got to see that, probably hears that all the time.
Yeah, it says anything suspended in or falling from the sky is the Greek word meteor.
I mean, when we're at work, when you're a guy who's a meteorologist in the office, like, you're the only one who's into science. Anything happens in the world of science, the whole newsroom turns to you and is like, can you explain this?
I've seen
Tell
it.
us what happened.
I've seen it.
So let's go.
So it's kind of...
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say,
it's kind of our job to try to know at least a little bit about as many different parts of science as you can.
So let's go a little more in your wheelhouse here. How does, and I ask this facetiously, how does the weather know, okay, it's Friday at 5 o'clock, cover up the sun, it's time to rain, and then how does it also know, okay, it's Monday, everybody's back in the office, here comes the sun, it's going to be beautiful Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Is there like can weather get on like a 7-day pattern? Because this is the second year in a row that we're dealing with this.
Or is this that God punishing us thing that you mentioned earlier?
Yeah, I think it's that thing, to be honest with you. This is why we are the way we are. Whenever someone asks, like, why are New Englanders that way? I'm like, it's the weather. It's what the weather does to us. It breaks our soul a little bit. Not enough, not all the way, but just enough. We're in one of those stretches right now where it's just so frustrating. I mean, Monday, beautiful. Tuesday, Wednesday, great. Thursday's fine. It's like 5 o'clock. Happy hour time Friday, clouds roll in, weekend. And, yeah, we did the same thing last year. It was even worse last year, I think, because it rained literally every weekend. We at least had one beautiful weekend this month. Will it break? Eventually, yes, it did last year at some point, but it lasted a long time, 13 straight weekends. We were kind of in the trenches. Next weekend does look like rain, but at least it'll be warm rain. Because we're going to have a front come through on Saturday, and it likely will bring some thunderstorms, but we might be in the 80s instead of the 40s, which I don't know about you, but sounds more preferable to me.
I always say the worst weather is 50 and raining. That is my least favorite thing. Even if it's like snowing, that's kind of like festive. You can get into that. And yeah, it sucks having a shovel or whatever. Hopefully you don't have to go anywhere, but like it's cozy, stay in, watch a movie, cook, whatever. Obviously, if it's nice out, you can go to the beach, you can go do whatever outside. What do you do with 50 and raining? There's nothing. It's just gloom.
Today, my plan was like to start with coffee and at some point turn the switch to beer. And we're getting close to that point in the day. We're at 3 in the afternoon. I think it's okay. It's been rough. I was out in the soccer field with my son earlier, and the kids are all looking at us like, what are we doing here? Why are we out here right now? It's a struggle. This Saturday thing has got to come to an end.
Hopefully it does. But we'll let you start to make that turn towards the beer. That makes 50 and rainy sound okay. You've sold me. I appreciate that pitch. Eric Fisher, he's the chief meteorologist for WBZ. Hey, man, thank you so much. I just texted him a minute ago, so thank you so much for hopping on and explaining the wonders of the universe to myself and Michael Hurley.
Hey, anytime. If you want like Neil deGrasse Tyson light to come on the show, you just give me a call and happy to visit.
Right up my alley. Love it. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
All right. See you later.
I feel educated.
Yeah, that was needed because I think anyone listening to just us at a certain point was like, these people are actually stupid.
Yeah,
So
I was starting to...
And we got the call from California.
Yeah.
That helped educate the people, and now we really took it to a new level. So shout out to us.
I think we did some journalism there.
Unlike Craig Breslow, we recognize our limitations and failures, and we bring in experts in the field to help us with them.
The one thing I meant to ask him, I forgot, because you'd mentioned you never heard it. Like, when the last time is this happened in Boston?
I don't know.
I'm sure somebody will have it.
Because especially as like a Twitter event, and Twitter's been around for 15 years, you know? So when these things happen on Twitter, you know it. Like, even if you didn't experience it, you know that it happened. And I don't recall ever really this happening. But I guess, like he said, nothing's a mystery anymore.
Yeah.
If this happened in the 90s, you wouldn't know.
What was that, George?
that a new one?
A lot of people tweeting in stuff.
So it was a different one. Okay.
Boston area, to be sure.
So maybe the double pop was an echo. Maybe it wasn't actually a double pop explosion. Maybe that was just like it hit a wall or something, and because that sounded like thunder. That one straight up sounded like thunder. Or I didn't know if you were playing the rocket explosion from the other night.
Oh my goodness, right? This has a lot more echo. It doesn't even sound like the same sound, to be sure, though, right? It has a lot more.
That's very different. Yeah. That just straight up sounds like thunder.
You know what? I can get the tree thing. It sounds like lightning struck a tree, and you're waiting for it to fall.
That sounds right. That sounds. Do you still have the first one too? Can we get those back to back? Little comparison here, because that. Play it again.
That sounds like a cannon.
Right, that or like because I've heard a sonic boom.
Right,
I went to an air show in Chicago once.
Right.
That really sounds like a sonic boom, and it's like crisper. That just sounds like an explosion.
Yeah,
that just straight up sounds like something exploded.
That's tail to it.
The first one sounds like the cannon shooting the cannonball. The second one sounds like the cannonball blasting through the ship.
Interesting. Good way to put it.
I guess your angle on this thing probably matters, you know?
That's true.
Distance.
Yeah, because he said it hit. Nobody was directly under it. Because they shared that radar. It hit over. Yeah, it's like right, like halfway between Provincetown and I think that's Cohasset. Whatever's equal with Provincetown. I'd have to pull up a map. I know my geography a little better than that. This map's a little tough to read, but I'll find that during the break. I do want to talk some football as well. We can get back on the rails. If you want to keep talking about the Meteor, though, we'd love to hear your experience. Since Hurley and I don't have one, we were just yapping away on the radio. 617-779-0985. But the Patriots are back in the building. It's OTAs. We got trade rumors to talk about. We got potential contract disputes to talk about. Coming up next here on the Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5. What game? It all happens here. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Because you mentioned Gonzo, and it's just interesting on Gonzo because he's eligible for an extension for the first time. How much of his spring participation has been maybe impacted by that dynamic of the contract?
I don't know what that, again, those are personal choices for players. I would say that I value the communication that I've had personally. I know that our defensive coaches that have had conversations with Christian, again, I wish that they were all here so that we can coach them. But the ones that are here, that's where our focus will be, and we'll pour everything that we have into those players. But I know that his professionalism and being ready to go, or whatever personal choice that these some guys have during the spring, I'm confident that they'll all be ready.
Back here on 98.5 The Sports of Alex Barth, Michael Hurley. I think we're about meteored out. You got any more takes on the meteor?
I feel better knowing, I guess, that it happens all the time. It's just that first hour where you've literally never heard of anyone hearing a meteor entering our atmosphere was a little unnerving. But I mean, if Eric's switching to beer, I feel better.
By the way, look. So I pulled up the radar shot and then Google Maps so I could get the town exactly right. It looks like it was just north, like it really is just like right over Cape Cod Bay, kind of just off, like, I think I said Cohasset earlier, maybe like Situate, Marshfield, a little bit further south, but in that area. But yeah, like square, look at that. Like, you couldn't draw that up any better. It's like squarely over Cape Cod Bay.
Yeah.
The opening. So, all right, fun day. That was cool. If we get any more updates, if another meteor hits, we'll let you know. I'll try to clip that with Eric Fisher to appreciate him coming on. But let's talk some Patriots. That was Mike Vrabel and Christian Gonzalez. He was not at OTAs this week, as we think he awaits a new contract. It has not been formally reported that he's holding out, but if it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, and Christian Gonzalez did go to Oregon.
And if it holds up its fingers doing the pay me money sign like Scrooge McDuck.
So I think you were on Felger and Maz when they had me on. I think Maz was a little underwhelmed with my reaction. Maybe just because I wasn't surprised. And the real story to me is what happens when we get to minicamp. Does he, assuming the deal's not done by then, which we'll get to the timeline a little bit. Right. Yeah, that would be pretty quick. And there's really no rush at that point, unless Devin Witherspoon signs. But when we get to minicamp, he does not have to be at OTAs. He is not sacrificing anything by not being at OTAs. When you get to minicamp, like, now he can get fined for missing time, and it becomes a bigger thing. Does he stay away from minicamp and formalize the holdout? Does he do, and this is the new thing that a lot of players do, which is the hold in, where he's there, but he's just in shorts and a T-shirt, and he's on the side. It's, hey, I'm here, I'm ready to talk, but I'm not on the field. Is it that thing? That's really what will be, I don't know, dramatic feels strong, but that will be the more dramatic moment to me. I just feel like get it done by the time padded practices start. If it lags into the first few days of training camp, not ideal, but whatever. You want them on the field when you start padded practices and really start ramping up. That's where I'm at with it. And that's when I'd be like, if the deal's not done, then you start to really worry. And, does this become a bad faith thing between him and the team? Does it damage the relationship? What does it mean for preparing the defense? All of that. Until then, I'd categorize it more as a nuisance than a concern. But where are you at with Christian Gonzalez and his contract?
Let me put it to you this way, Barth. All right? I wanted to bring this up, and I'm glad I was able to find it. Usually I can't. Last year, this was October. So it was October of last season. So the middle of last season. NFL.com, using the next-gen analytics stat team, ranked the 10 best cornerbacks in the NFL. Okay? Christian Gonzalez was ranked 8th. Now, let me go through that list for you and tell me how many people he leapfrogged ahead of them in the months that passed after that.
Okay.
Because remember, he was coming off the hamstring injury. He missed the start of the year. So the honorable mentions were J.C. Horn, Joshua Jobe, Nate Wiggins, DJ Turner, and DJ Reed.
Yeah, he's better than all those.
10 was Tarheeb Still.
Better than him. Was involved, though, fun fact, was one of the picks the Chargers got back when the Patriots moved back to allow the Chargers to take Ladd McConkey, and they took Jalen Polk.
Number 9 was Jamel Dean. All right, so then you got Christian Gonzalez at 8. Now we're going to start seeing how many people he's jumped. All right, number 7, Stingley.
That's close.
They might have jumped together.
He might have jumped him, but they're the same ballpark.
Yeah.
If you're talking financially, and Stingley's AAV is $30 million a year.
Okay. AJ Terrell.
Yeah, he's better than AJ Terrell.
Number
$20
5.
million a year, by the way, for Terrell.
Number 5 was Diamadori Lenore.
Yep.
Better than him.
He's not even coming up at the $17.9 million a year.
This one's interesting. Number 4 was Sauce Gardner. I think he's...
I've always thought he's better than Sauce Gardner. I think Sauce Gardner is an overrated player, personally.
Okay.
I prefer man corners to zone corners. I've always thought he was better than Sauce Gardner.
Yep. And he got
30.1.
30.1.
Because Stingley got 30, then he got 30.1.
And then number 3 was Quinyon Mitchell.
Yeah, I think he's a better player than Mitchell.
All right, so now you're in the top 3. 2 Trent McDuffie, 1 Patrick. I don't think he's better than Patrick Surtain.
Nope. I think he's on par with McDuffie.
Yeah, I think it's Stingley, Gonzalez, and McDuffie in that next group after Surtain, and maybe it's just one big group.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And McDuffie just got 31 from the Rams.
And so that's the point. This is the class he's in. That's what it costs to get him. And the biggest thing, like,
it's going to be. I'm telling you, it's going to be whatever the years end up being. It's going to be $32 million a year. I think it's going to be 30 because so Stingley got 30, Gardner got 30.1. Then a year passed, and then it went up $1 million to McDuffie.
Yep.
So I think it goes up. I think it's going to be 32.
And this is the thing. And well, one, Felger and Maz have been on this pretty consistently. Like, you do it now because it's not getting cheaper.
It's only getting more expensive.
You could wait till next year. Somehow he's not playing on this contract, but say Magic Land happens and you can wait until next year. You buy out that it's going to be more expensive. So waiting on, and then the other thing, what is their philosophy? Because we know what it was for 20 years with Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
We understand it was, we know exactly how they would be approaching.
No shot Bill would resign him.
You're due $3-something million this year. You're due what, $17 million next year?
I think it's like 20 something, but yeah.
That's factored in of what we're going to pay you if you want a 4-year extension. Right now, no one in the league thinks that way, and it worked here because you had Tom Brady. That's really the key to it all. You don't anymore. You are the rest of the league. You are no better or worse than them. You have
1
to
of 32.
business. You have to do business the way business is being done. And you want the best evidence of that, Barth? The Jets paid Gardner that extension, traded him for 2 firsts. The Colts were like, hell yeah, give me that contract. I'll give you 2 first-round picks, and I'll take on that contract.
Yeah, they probably shouldn't have done that, but
that's the value. That is what you have. So I think you just sign him. And if things go haywire here this year, which I don't think they will, you could trade him. If things go haywire next year when you have to pay Drake May, maybe you could trade him. You will get value back for it. So to dink around right now, I don't know the benefit of that because that player is not going to step on the field with this current contract.
So what's your timeline? Where do you, because I agree with everything you just said, but I also think it would not be uncommon for this to linger into the first, call it 2 or 3 days of training camp. If once the pads come on, that's usually when business gets done, right? If he's not at minicamp, not ideal. I'm not pulling my.
I think he'll be there, but be like
the whole day, like all things neutral. If there's reporting that suggests that's different. I'm just saying.
I slept funny last night. I got a little crick in my neck. I'm going to sit this one out, Coach.
It's not great. He's not signed. It's not great. He's not there. But I'm trying to remember when Stingley signed his contract last year. Like, what's the timeline that these normally get done? I don't think we're at like Stingley actually signed his in March. Okay, so that doesn't help my argument. But
well, look at Smith and Jigba this year. Different position, obviously.
Yeah,
that was done in March.
That's fair. Gardner signed his on July 15th.
Was he holding out? I don't think so.
I think it was the same thing. Like, it's OTAs. You can't really hold out of OTAs.
Right, it's voluntary.
Right. It's. I feel like you see these deals sometimes get done in July. So
and Sauce Gardner did not hold out a minicamp last year.
Okay. Am I unfair in saying I don't feel like the Patriots and Gonzalez are behind schedule? Well, it's not great he's not there. I don't feel like they're behind schedule.
I guess, but the only thing you've heard from Elliott Wolf was before the draft saying he's under contract, which felt very much like we have him under our thumb.
He
said he's under contract and we would expect that to be the case, is what he said about him being there. And I don't know if that was part of the game or if it's part of their philosophy, but he's not playing on that contract.
No, I don't think he's going to. And it's $18 million on the 50-year option. So you're buying that out. I guess I give him till July till I really say this is like Now I'm concerned in the short term.
And it's not just that he was absent because, like, Carlton Davis wasn't there.
Right.
Harold Landry wasn't there.
I want to get to Landry in a little bit.
We would assume he's over his knee injury. Perhaps not. There was at least one other.
Matt
absence.
Collins wasn't there.
Yeah, and like Matt Collins, maybe he's still recovering from that torn abdomen. I'm not sure. But the fact that Gonzalez was partaking in stuff before this, part of the offseason program, and then the media shows up to witness, and he's not there, that to me tells me that this is part of what is to be the negotiation.
Playing the game. And the fact that he was there, like, he was there. He was in the schedule release video. He's not completely staying away. So I don't want to say it's a non-story because it's absolutely a story. If they end up not paying him, that's a problem.
Do you think they will?
Yes. I don't think, and that's just gut. There's no inside information there. That's just
the only thing I would say.
If they really want to claim they're a draft and develop team, and that's their philosophy, and that's who they want to be, they're not a draft and develop team if they don't pay Christian Gonzalez.
What's the point of even drafting good players if you're just going to let them walk out the door?
They are no longer. You can't call yourself a draft and develop team if you don't pay that guy. He's not like some guys are on the fringe. We'll get to Keishon Boutte in a little bit. Fringe player do you pay as a draft and develop team? Christian Gonzalez, no question about it. Cornerstone player, you pay him. And that's why I think they will. Because I think, and maybe there'll be weird things in the contract. I don't know.
Well, can I throw this in at you?
Yeah.
Monday's June 1st.
Yeah.
Pretty big deal needs to be completed.
4:01 p.m.
Do you think there is an order of operations to the offseason where it's like, we got to get this A.J. Brown thing?
Very much could be.
And then we can talk to you. And if that's the case, it wouldn't be surprising. And I think Gonzalez would be like, all right, well, I'm not going to go tear my hamstring in the meanwhile, so I'll be in the weight room.
Right. Again, if Gonzalez signs on June 15th.
Yeah.
Oh, he missed a couple OTA practices.
He's not learning anything he covers a man.
That should not cost them any games in 2026. It should. I guess that's more my point.
You also don't want it. You don't want it, and this is to your point. You don't want him missing training camp time.
Real training camp. That's why, to me, because people say, okay, well, you're not worried about them signing him. When will you get worried? First day of pads. If they have him out there the first day of pads, I'm good. At that point, I'm like, all right. It's a business. Would have been great for him to be out there earlier. I don't think it all ultimately cost them anything. Fine. It was not ideal, but I don't think that is the sky's not falling if he's out there the first day of pads. Yeah. Maybe it's raining a little bit, but it's not. The meteor broke up in the atmosphere. It didn't crash and hit the planet. If he starts missing padded practices and then you start getting into the real game planning practices in the back end of camp, because we saw he missed that time last year with an injury and it impacted him in the season.
He missed 8 weeks.
Right. Not 8.
I thought it was 8.
Oh, including camp.
Yeah.
He didn't miss 8 games. Okay, I heard that as games. Okay.
He missed 3 games, right?
Yeah.
So he missed, I believe it was 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And his rookie year, obviously, he got injured after 4 games. So that's the knock. That's the concern. You want him going in full speed. The only time he played most of a full year was the Gerard Mayo year. Did he get a concussion at the end of that year? I feel like that's why he missed the last game, unless they just sat him out.
Something like that, yeah.
I think he got hit in the head. So you want him to have that fully healthy season. And I guess if you're against paying him, that's the only case you can make, right? That he's had these injuries. He hasn't played 2 out of the 3 full seasons that he's been in the league. But watch the playoffs, man.
He's so good.
The Super Bowl, everyone says it was like this one-sided beatdown, and it kind of was. Imagine if you didn't have Christian Gonzalez. Because it was still a winnable
game. It would have been ugly.
You were just waiting for Drake May to hit on a deep ball, and then you could actually talk about the game. It never happened. Christian Gonzalez is what kept it close. A freaking running back was the game MVP. Are you kidding me?
So that's why the Gonzalez holdout maybe worries me more in the long term. I don't want to see them lose him, and I don't think they will. But in the short term, it doesn't worry me as much because if they can just get him paid and figure it out, and he's going to reset the market, so there shouldn't be that much haggling. That's just the reality of it. You get him back on the field August 1st, and this is all just a funny story at the end of the year. There was another absence, or 2 absences, I should say, that I actually think have more short-term, a bigger potential impact on the 2026 season itself that I'm actually more worried about than Christian Gonzalez. Maybe not more worried, but I think should be talked about more. We'll get to those next. Plus, you want to call and talk Patriots, 617-779-0985. It's Alex Barth and Michael Hurley on the Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports, 98.5 The Boston sports, yeah, we got that covered. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Back here on 98.5, Alex Barth, Michael Hurley. Taking up until 5 o'clock. You want to join us, 617-779-0985. So I teased this a little bit before the break. A lot's being made about Christian Gonzalez's absence from Patriots OTAs. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. But I don't think it should overshadow two other absences that I think could have a significant impact on this team in the short term. Now, I'll preface this by saying OTAs are optional. They're not linear. Like, the media was out. They've had 3 practices. The media's only seen 1. And players can come and go. It's not you show up to all of them or you show up to none. You can show up for one day. You can show up every other day, whatever you want to do.
You got plans on Wednesday. You can just skip it.
Right. Wouldn't it be nice if work was like that?
Optional.
Although it's only like 3 weeks of it. That's basically what, like, the week between Christmas and New Year's is in the real world. But anyway, that being said, the day we were out, Wednesday, when the media was out there this week, the first practice, obviously Gonzalez was the big absence. You mentioned Matt Collins wasn't out there, Kayshon Boutte, who I want to get to in a little bit as well. But, yep, there were 2 other players not there that kind of got my antennas up. And you mentioned one of them, Harold Landry, and then Gabe Akis, the team's second-round pick, both edge rushers. Now, Landry's a veteran. Landry could have just said, hey, 30 years old, been rehabbing an injury. I want some time with my family. I'm not going. Like, that absolutely could be the case. But when you have a guy that was hurt, and we know he was rehabbing. Mike Vrabel said at the league meetings in March he'd been rehabbing the knee and was rehabbing the knee. I think he said it in the present tense. Okay, and he's not on the field. That's kind of notable. And then Gabe Akis, again, while these are optional, Hurley, can you ever think of a time short of injury that a rookie skipped OTAs?
No, and I know he hasn't signed, right? So
and he hasn't.
But I don't know.
Henderson hadn't signed at this point last year, and he was at OTAs.
You can still show up. It's odd anytime a player isn't signed these days because there's not a lot of wiggle room in those rookie contracts.
So the second round, remember this was the whole thing last year. The second round is where there's wiggle room about guaranteed
right?
money.
Yeah. So I guess I wouldn't say that's entirely smart if that's the case. But yeah, I mean, he's a player who, when he was drafted, I was a little surprised by how much, I don't know if you call it hype, excitement, praise there was.
So I had him as a first-round pick. I had him as a fringe first-round pick, but he was
the 9th edge taken.
You wonder if maybe part of the reason he fell was he was dealing with a hamstring injury leading up to the draft.
And if that's the case, certainly, I'm not trying to downplay the importance of OTAs, but when it comes to like install and whatnot, if you're an edge rusher, your job is to line up and sack the quarterback. But if there's more to it here. But
if you're a rookie,
I understand. But if there is any risk of re-injury, like we'll do the hamstring talk again. I'll do all day on that.
Well, this is my point. If he's dealing with something and Landry's dealing with something, those are 2 tremendously important players for the Patriots. I came with my big knock on their offseason, assuming they get A.J. Brown, was that they didn't do enough on the edge because they need one of those 2 guys to be a dude. Landry was great the first half of last year. He was on a double-digit sack pace. Hurley, they have not, since they traded Chandler Jones, we're going all the way back to Chandler Jones, they've had 3 double-digit sack seasons as a team.
Judon
had 2. You got it?
Since when? Sorry?
Since they traded Chandler Jones.
Which was in what, like
12?
15? Oh, 15?
Trey Flowers?
Nope.
Definitely Judon twice, yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you a hint. Judon is indirectly responsible for the other one.
Oh, whoever played opposite of
Uche.
Right?
Josh Uche had
Wow,
one.
but he had like 5 in a game, didn't he?
I think it was like 3 or something, yeah, and he finished with 11. But the point being,
damn.
Like, they need that linchpin pass rusher. And their best odds at it, I think, are Landry or Akis. They need at least one of those guys to be a hit this year. Because after them, you have Draymond Jones, they signed a free agency, who's fine, but it's more of a complimentary player, run player. He's not that dynamic of a pass rusher.
He feels like an Anthony Jennings replacement.
Absolutely. And it's a fair way to put it. Elijah Ponder, who, had some nice moments last year as a UDFA, played 200 snaps. I think it was 204 was the exact number, at 4 sacks. I'm not ready to put the entire pass rush on Elijah Ponder. That would be extreme. And like, he's a fine rotational player. If he's your third or fourth pass rusher, great. I think that's a good role for him. Not the top of the depth chart guy. So you have Jones, you have Ponder. After them, now you're talking about, can you get something out of Braden Swinson, who spent most of last year on the practice squad? Q Hutchins, who was a 7th-round pick. Xavier Holmes, who was a UDFA, signed out of rookie minicamp. Jesse Lucetta, who's a special teams player. Like, they don't have much there. And if now there's a situation monitor with Landry, and with Landry, I'll say what I said about Gonzalez. I get that it's May. There's plenty of time. If these guys are both fully healthy by the time we get to August, this is all nothing. But if this is going to be a thing, if it's going to be an issue, if Landry's not going to be the guy he was before he got hurt last year, and if Akis is dealing with something, you're really lesser than at edge. It could be a real struggle for them to get pressure on the quarterback from the edge. I know they still have Milton Williams. I know they still have Christian Barmore. It's the same thing as like when people talk about, well, you can't say they had no receivers. They had Rob Gronkowski. They did, and he made a big impact. But it's just, football at its core is about manipulating space. That's what the game comes down to.
Whoa.
There's a difference. It's a different impact when your premier pass rusher is on the edge versus in the middle. Unless you have Aaron Donald, there's just the way it's structured. You need that. You can have it. It's great to have it in the middle. Let's not say there's nothing positive about having it in the middle. It just changes the dynamic when you have that guy on the edge. And if Landry is still working back from that knee and isn't going to be the same guy, and Akis, who I think can be a double-digit sack guy, but if he's going to have something that's going to cost him time and impact his rookie development, I think that should be a bigger story than it is right now.
Well, let me push back a little.
Okay.
Barth. Take that conversation, right?
Yeah.
Bottle it up, put a cork in it, save it for July.
But
it is a concern for
can't
sure.
we just say the same thing about Gonzalez?
Yeah. But there's something there where you don't know if they're going to pay him. You don't know what their thought process is. If there is any sort of semblance of getting over those injuries where there's any risk right now of re-injury or aggravation, I think they're okay with saying, you know what, there's no need to push it. Now, granted, they're not exactly humping out there.
But if there is that risk, doesndo that imply, especially with Landry, who's older, that he's not
absolutely.
going to be 100% this year?
Absolutely. But I would say there's the what do they call it? Like DEFCON.
Yeah.
DEFCON 1 is the highest or 5?
I think it's 1.
1 is the highest.
We're learning all sorts of things today.
Yeah, two smart people talking about stuff they know about. I would say right now it's May, call it DEFCON 4. If you're in July and Landry's not out there to start and you still don't know about Akis's hamstring situation, 2. Throw it up to DEFCON 2. I would just say save it for that. And this is...
Where would you put Gonzalez right now? It is. So
good question.
Do you want...
Probably 4, but maybe closer to 3 than the other 2.
Do you want the DEFCON levels?
Not really. I think we got it. What does DEFCON stand for?
Defense readiness condition.
Love that.
So that actually, because we're talking about how ready the Patriots defense is going to be, that's actually kind of perfect.
Look at us.
DEFCON 5 is the lowest state of readiness. DEFCON 4 means increased intelligence watch and strengthened security measures. The code name is Double Take. DEFCON 3, the code name is Roundhouse. Increase in force readiness above that required for normal readiness. DEFCON 2, now you're getting into talking about nuclear war. We won't go there.
No. Unless, the aliens start throwing meteors at us. By the way, this is not relevant to the conversation, but important nevertheless. Josh Uche had 2 3-sack games that year.
Okay.
One was against Sam Ehlinger with the Colts.
Okay.
Who took 9 sacks.
To be fair, the one thing Sam Ehlinger has going for him is he is sturdy. He is tough to bring down.
He took 9 sacks that day.
Strong base.
So he was easy to take down that day. And then also the Monday night when Kyler Murray got hurt in the opening drive, Colt McCoy came in. Uche had 3 sacks.
Okay, so
not really a double-digit sack.
Not really. But the point is, but you were saying, sorry.
That was it.
Oh, that was it. All right. So I just, again, we can talk about Gonzalez. I'm not saying it's not a fair take.
It's probably in the similar concern level. So you're fair to say, like, the reaction this week has been disproportionate. I just think there's so much, like, that the Patriots want Landry out there. They want Akis out there. I don't know how they're approaching the Gonzalez thing. I don't. Like, we knew how Bill Belichick would be handling this, and we actually we know how the player would probably be handling it, knowing that Brady's there setting the sort of standard. Like, you take less to play here. You win championships every year. I don't know what I think they're going to pay him, but I don't know that.
I feel pretty good they're going to pay. I guess maybe that is the difference, but I'll say this. We do know how they feel about Landry. They didn't do enough on the edge if he can't play. That's going to be a massive sack. Not bringing back Caleb Von Chason, who said he wanted to be here.
I'll do you one better. I think they didn't do enough even if he can play. I don't think he's going to play the whole year.
I think they maybe did just enough.
You need him to play every single game. And I just don't think that's realistic.
Sure, that's fair. I think that, you know what? I think they are where they were last year. Last year, they probably needed a little bit more out of him.
Out of Landry.
Yeah.
But at least they had Chason, who was like a pleasant surprise.
I think you hope Draymond Jones is kind of similar idea. You're trying to get a player who was viewed as having more potential at one point.
I guess
was
last
never
year,
tapped into.
You had Tonga and Chason as your pleasant surprises. So is one of those guys looming right now?
Draymond Jones and Corey Durden is who you're looking at. That's who's going to be taking those snaps. And it's not, stylistically, it's not a one-for-one, especially Jones and Chason, but in terms of who's playing through and maybe Akis, we'll get to that. So those are some Patriots thoughts. You want to weigh in? 617-779-0985. We are a Boston sports talk show, and A.J. Brown has not yet been traded. So I want to touch on that real quick. Plus your call, 617-779-0985. It's Alex Barth and Michael Hurley on the Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.
first rounder next year for a receiver who is getting older, who does have knee problems that are probably only going to get worse as he gets older, who is not really approaching 30 yet. He's not quite there, but he's in his late 20s. And we even saw last year that he wasn't quite as explosive. And even when he was, because his and Hurts's chemistry was so kind of funky, they weren't always able to capitalize. So I don't know. I still think that this gets done because I think that A.J. Brown would like to go to have Mike Vrabel as his head coach once again, go to a young quarterback with a ton of talent in an offense that for some game plans, of course, they may be a little more run first, but this is not going to be a run first offense when you're building around the quarterback. So I still think that the Patriots make the most sense. We even went through the other teams that kind of backed out. Only a couple of them made a lot of sense. Others, it's like, sure, he elevates you, and kind of in a similar situation with the Patriots, maybe you're not desperate for him. Really, the Patriots, it's the Mike Vrabel angle that makes it like they make way more sense than anybody else. So again, I think it happens. But now I guess this affects the timeline of, okay, I guess the Eagles can wait. They've got their other receivers. This is a draft pick that's not going to, come into play for a very long time. So they're not in a rush. And if anything, the Patriots maybe now kind of have their feet to the fire.
My guy Taylor Kyle's over at CLNS Media with his thoughts on the looming A.J. Brown trade. We got a little wrinkle this week. First time we've really gotten any new info on that in a while, with the reporting that, maybe it's not a done deal. Maybe the Patriots don't want to give up first, which, by the way, and I've kind of reserved for the fact when Adam Schefter says, yeah, it's probably going to be a 2028 first, I think it's going to be a 2028 first. If I'm Elliott Wolf, I'm daring the Eagles to bring him to camp.
Right.
Him and Jalen Hurts don't like each other. I don't think he likes the team very much.
It's over.
They've added all these receivers. Like, okay, bring him to camp. See how that goes. We'll be waiting here with our second. And I've said the happy medium is it's a second that becomes a first if the Patriots make the playoffs or if A.J. Brown is 1,200 yards or just something that qualifies, so you're not giving up a top 10 pick if you have a bunch of injuries or whatever. But
can I throw this at you, too?
Yeah.
Did you see Florio after that? Because the Rappaport report last
there was
week
so
came
much
out.
stuff, maybe.
And Florio had, it's Patriots or no one. Can I just quickly read what Florio wrote?
Please
Which I think is fair. And it's how I feel, too, so that's why I'm going to read it. If there was another team pursuing Brown, we would know about it. The Eagles would have leaked it. The goal would be to pit two teams against each other in the hopes of getting the possible return. As it stands, it's the Patriots or no one. And then he went...
If I can cut you off real quick.
Yeah.
Do you think that's what that Rappaport report was?
Well... Let me get to that. But what of the report that the two sides are, quote, not particularly close? Our guess is that the Eagles deliberately leaked it as a Hail Mary effort to get someone else to come to the table. I think that is a fair summation. And the other is you've heard from different corners, like the NFL is concerned about the appearance if this trade goes down right away after June 1st. Why?
What? Yeah.
It's not illegal.
It's not tampering.
I could call the Chiefs right now and be like, hey, Chiefs, can I have Patrick Mahomes? I'll give you a first-round pick. And they'd be like, I'm hanging up on you, bozo. You can have trade discussions at all times about players. That's how transactions happen.
It's literally just the structure of the contract. This isn't like free agency. No, I thought that was weird. Honestly, my interpretation of that, we're going to get to June 1st. The trade happens. They like having a headline. They want it to drag out because the league wants a headline.
Well, and that's a big thing with Rappaport. And he did that update, which sort of felt like, what the hell? Like, where'd this come from? How did it end, Barth? It didn't end with this could blow up. It ended with this could drag on for quite some time. It didn't say, this is in peril. This is not going to happen.
Right.
It was this could drag on for a while. And
Which,
it's like, well, what game are we playing here?
Would you rather? Because there is something to be said for get A.J. Brown sooner. Him and Drake May can start working together, whether that be in minicamp, whether that be, the quarterbacks always organize these throwing sessions. They're usually in like Florida or California. I think Drake's done is in Carolina.
You get all the shirtless pics of
tossing
those guys
around with the boys. Yeah.
You're like, oh, that guy's jacked.
Sure. That kind of thing.
That guy's short.
You have him for that. He's learning the playbook. So there is something to be said for getting him here sooner, by all means. Would you rather the Patriots just say, all right, here's the 28 first, June 1st, 4:01 p.m., A.J. Brown's a Patriot, or Elliott Wolf plays the game of chicken with Howie Roseman, and now you risk maybe another team gets involved, somebody's wide receiver gets hurt, but now, there's a chance that you only give up a second, but you don't get him until the end of July.
I do not think you can do that because
you wouldn't play the game of chicken.
Let's say you do it, right? Howie Roseman's going to be pissed. If you have an agreed upon deal in place and now you change it at the 11th hour, Roseman's going to call any of the other teams that were involved and say, hey, listen, if I'm going to only get a second for it, I'd rather give it to you because you're not trying to screw me here.
Assuming you don't. Assuming the conversation right now is we will give you a second and the Eagles saying back, no, we want a first.
Well, I don't know what they agreed upon, but it's like you said, when Schefter said 2028 first, I'm led to believe. I'm led to believe.
Well, maybe he's hearing that from the Eagles.
Yeah.
Maybe he's hearing that from the Eagles, and they want to put the pressure on the Patriots, and that's why they're putting that out there.
I wonder what kind of twisted math you could do, because you know how, like, if say it's March and I'm trading you this year as second, that's the equivalent of next year's first, right?
28 first is the equivalent of a 27 second. But the future pick equivalencies are weird.
I don't fully believe it because it's still a first-round pick.
Exactly.
But let's say I give you a 2028 first.
Yeah.
But I get back a 2027 fourth.
So there might be some sort of pick swap in there.
Then you're kind of like, that's a third
been
for
reported.
a fourth. By that math, which again, I don't fully buy into when you're talking about a first-round pick. I'll buy it but I guess time is expensive in the NFL.
Well, because I guess in theory too, if you trade a 28 first, let's say it's like A.J. Brown, a 28 third for a 28 first. Now you have an extra third, and you can use that to get back up into the first round.
Yeah.
It's not so much the time's expensive. And this is the ultimate irony in all of it. And this is what kills me, and I'm sorry. You should be able to backdate trades to June 1st.
No kidding.
Like you can with cuts. The trade that worked for everybody, that made the most sense in the world, was 31 for A.J. Brown. Because
no one right here would be like, oh man, the Patriots could have had Caleb Lomu, but now they have A.J. Brown.
The value in it, why there's less value when you push it off, is who knows if you're going to have the job at that point? Who knows what that draft class is going to look like? It's not time, it's certainty. You know more about what that pick is ultimately going to end up being. Frankly, I still think the Patriots should have, if it was 31 in Kayshon Boutte, they should have done it and convinced the Eagles to bite that cap hit. Now, first and a second, no, but if there was a way to do it.
Or like the NBA would do, where you draft the guy for.
Well, that's a whole other thing. I hate that thing.
But it would have worked in this scenario.
Favorite draft interactions ever is, I believe it was Kelly Oubre, who got drafted by the Atlanta Hawks and goes to do, like he does thing, he goes up on the stage, he shakes the commissioner's hand. It was Kelly Oubre. And they're like, hey, man, how does it feel to get drafted? And he's like, the Atlanta Hawks are the best team in the NBA, and they're going to win a championship in the next 2 years. And they're like, oh, actually, you're not going to play for the Hawks. You got traded to the Wizards. And he goes, whoever drafted me is going to win a championship. Just absolute nonsense, as seems to follow Kelly Oubre around. But, yeah, I hate that thing. But it's annoying. I think it ultimately gets done. And then the next question becomes Kayshon Boutte. I know you have a take on that. I want to hear that. We do have to take a break for the headlines. 90 seconds, no commercials. We come back with a Michael Hurley, Kelly Oubre take, and your calls. You want to call in on the Patriots?
No Kelly Oubre take.
Kelly Oubre, Kayshon Boutte. We need this break. 617-779-0985. Headlines, no commercials, and we're back.
It's not illegal.
It's not tampering.
From the Town Fair Times News. Dutcher and Hardy, Owen Beetle, Felger and Mass, the Bruins, the Celtics, the Pats, the Revolution. This is Boston's home for sports. WBC FM at HD Boston, 98.5, the Sports Hub, a Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
Tonight, Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals, Spurs at Thunder. Whatever you might want to happen, there's one bettor out there who stands to win $1.7 million if the Spurs win. He made a future bet on $2,500 that Michigan would win the NCAA basketball tournament, Team USA Hockey would win Olympic gold, the Knicks would win the East, and the Spurs would win the West. That bettor is apparently passing up the $600,000 cash-out offer. Something to keep in mind tonight. The Red Sox are about to get underway in Cleveland. They lost last night and have now lost 6 of their last 7, 10 games under 500. Sonny Gray gets the start for Boston. He'll be opposed by Cy Young candidate Parker Messick. He is 6-1 with a 2.24 ERA this season. And speaking of Red Sox greatness, former manager Bobby Valentine, he's being honored tonight. No, not by the Red Sox, but by the Mets. Bobby V being inducted into the Mets Hall of Fame. Last night, he donned sunglasses and a fake mustache when throwing out his ceremonial first pitch at Citi Field. No word yet on if he'll be inducted into the Red Sox Hall of Fame. Probably not. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Boston Prolotherapy. Don't let joint pain keep you off the court, course, or trail. Eliminate that pain with Dr. Franke of Boston Prolotherapy. I'm Michael Hurley, and those are your Sports Hub headlines.
The Sports Hub. 3 legendary franchise on one legendary radio station. It's the Sports Hub. When it comes to Boston sports, we're fans just like you. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Kayshon Boutte feels like the odd man out, I think, like to a lot of us.
Yes.
If A.J. Brown comes aboard. What if they can't trade him? What if they can't get anything of real meaningful value? Would you still keep him around and say, hey, you might not get on the field as much as you want to, but it's better for us to have you than to trade you for like a 7th round pick?
I feel like that'd be a really hard sell. And I guess, look, they have the hammer, like, well, if you're not going to show up, we're not going to pay you. And, then you're still the whole thing. But I think he looks at a situation and, like everybody else, assumes that AJ's coming here and is like, well, I'm entering the last year of my contract. And Romeo Doubs just got $34 million guaranteed over the first 2 years of his deal. And why can't I have a season like that if I'm targeted more? My chance to make sort of generational money is sort of flying out the window here. And can you find a place for me? And I almost feel like the way that Vrabel has talked about it, again, like him to be here, but like kind of understands it too. So I think they move him, like, even if it's for a 7th round pick. I think that's what ends up happening.
Alex Barth, Michael Hurley on the Sports Hub. Kayshon Boutte, not Kelly Olynyk. Kayshon Boutte.
Not Kelly Oubre either.
Got an hour to go.
We got Meteors.
It was Cotillo instead of Breslow too, but it is a Saturday.
When did I say?
That's the first rejoiner at it was Chris Cotillo.
I'll tell you though, I would rather Chris Cotillo run the Red Sox than Craig Breslow.
One time I was out at Patriots Place. I was out with some friends. I think it was like the night before Thanksgiving, and we were just hopping around the different bars there. And we go to wait in line. I don't know what it's called now. It was Toby Keith's. And, we're walking down the line and some guy taps me. He goes, hey, are you Chris Cotillo? And I was like, no, but you're oddly close. That's weird. Like, no, but you're much closer to getting that right than you think you are.
I'd always given you the Martian reference, but a little bit of Cotillo, though, as I reviewed the video.
I don't see it in poor Chris Cotillo. I'm sorry, but no. I was like, no, but I am
a sports writer.
Somebody who's in their late 20s, who's a Boston sports writer, and you're in the right ballpark somehow, some way.
Pretty crazy.
Anyway, Kayshon Boutte is the person we were talking about. As soon as the A.J. Brown trade happens, if and when that becomes next shoe to drop, and I know some people don't like the idea of them trading him. What are you holding on to him for? He's in a contract year. You're going to have A.J. Brown, who plays his role ahead of him. You're trying to develop Kyle Williams, who plays the same role, and you still have Mac Hollins. So, and again, you have to pay him. So are you going to pay him to sit on the bench? Are you going to hold on to him and let him leave for nothing? I think you can get something for him. You're not getting the 1st round pick back, but you can get something for him. I don't think he's a bad player. I'm not trying to rush him out the door. And if they don't get A.J. Brown, they have to keep him. Because if not, you're worse at receiver. I think, being optimistic, I think Dobbs and Diggs is a wash. But I think that it's just, there's not a place for him on the team if you get A.J. Brown. And if you can get a 5th for him, maybe you can do like a 4-6 swap, something like that. I think you take it.
I hate this. I hate what Giardi said there. Love Giardi. Love you.
Good dude.
I hate this. Because here's my case, okay? Here's the case for Kayshon Boutte on this team. Do you remember what the score was in that terrible playoff game against the Houston Texans when Drake May was getting slaughtered? Do you know what the score was when Drake May and Kayshon Boutte connected for the best play of the whole year?
It was low scoring.
It was 21-16. People kind of blow off that game because C.J. Stroud was horrible. The offensive line for the Patriots was horrible. It was a 5-point game in the 4th quarter. And who did Kayshon Boutte beat for the game-deciding touchdown?
His former college teammate, Derek Stingley.
Who we agreed is a top 3 cornerback in the NFL.
Yeah.
So here's my case. Last year, first 8 games of the year, Kayshon Boutte only had 23 catches, but he had 431 yards and 5 touchdowns before he suffered the hamstring injury. Later, he suffered the concussion. He really was never the same. Did have that nice playoff first 2 games. He was going up. I mean, Diggs probably drew more attention, but given Diggs' role, he wasn't on the outside going deep. There was generally speaking, the top cornerback on the other team lining up against Kayshon Boutte, and he was roasting them. Now, if you have A.J. Brown in the field and Romeo Doubs in the field, Let's say you throw a three receiver set out. I would save Hollins for third down. Let's say you have these three guys on the field.
Yeah.
Your number one's going to be on A.J. Brown. Your number two is going to be on Dobbs. Who's Booty lined up against? And I know everyone needs their targets, and I know it's mouths to feed, but I don't think Booty's going to need 8 targets a game. He might need 3, and 2 of them might go for 60 yards each.
I just think it's tough because, one, in theory, that makes sense. He's a vertical player. You're not running him underneath. You're not running him on layup routes. You're throwing him low percentage passes. To your point, you're talking 2 to 3 catches a game. You're probably doing the same thing with A.J. Brown. He's a little bit better underneath, but you're maximizing him as a jump ball player.
Brown is going to need what? 8 targets a game minimum.
So now you're talking about a lot of low percentage routes for Drake May.
And maybe you're making the case like they hit what? Like 70% of them last year. It was unsustainable. There's a little bit of luck. But what isn't luck about that is the dynamic that Drake May clearly has with Kayshon Boutte. Go back to the year before. Boutte had better stats 2 years ago than he did last year.
So what's the long-term play with that, though?
You use him this year, and you use him to win games.
And
I think he is significant. Then you let him go.
You let him go. But
if you're talking about a 6th-round pick swap or a guy who can get you 600 yards and 6 touchdowns on a guy that works with your quarterback too, like is a guarantee. These things don't always work, and that's the biggest thing. You mentioned Kyle Williams. Sure, would you like Kyle Williams to blossom this year? Yeah. Is he complaining on Instagram that minicamp is too hard? I mean, that OTAs are too hard? Yes, also. He's a guy that didn't know where to go last year. He's a guy that was the singular player on the Patriots who had no rapport with Drake May.
How about Mac Hollins? I
love Mac Hollins on third down.
Can also do some of that downfield stuff. Has a good rapport with Drake May. I would argue he's more effective on early downs than Kayshon Boutte. He's more of a 3-down receiver because of his ability to block and his size.
Just the way May used him was like, oh crap, it's 3rd and 7. We're going to Hollins. And I appreciate that. Hollins also took a beating and ended up hurt by the end of the year. I don't think you're exactly wealthy in the receiver department to just be casting off a guy who, again, it was only half a year, and you can knock him for that. For half a year was on a 1,000-yard pace and a 12-touchdown pace.
The chemistry point is fair. If they drafted Kai Williams in the 3rd round, it's a fair expectation for him to replace what Kayshon Boutte did last year.
How many 2nd and 3rd round picks have been drafted by the Patriots?
Sure, and it flamed out. But you can't, then don't draft guys, I would say. And that was part of their problem for years.
I'm just saying you can't get rid of what is a pretty well-known commodity. Like Boutte's had 2 good years in a row.
He's a well-known commodity, but I don't think he's irreplaceable.
He's replaceable, but why dump him for like he's trash to let Kyle Williams come in and run the wrong route and it's OTAs. The one interception the other day, who was it thrown to?
That was a bad throw. I saw that with my own eyes. That was a bad throw.
I'm gonna lean toward blaming Kyle Williams when it comes to Drake May making mistakes.
I'm not one to throw Drake May under the bus. It was a bad throw. I saw it.
It just seems to happen a lot more with
where's
Kyle
your
Williams.
ceiling? What if it's like a 4-6 pick swap? They have a bunch of 6. They trade one of the 6 and Kayshon Boutte and get a 4th back.
It's better than what is being discussed. It's better than the idea of just cutting him like it's addition by subtraction. I just don't buy into that. I just think...
Or also, what if he says, I don't want that role? What if he says, I'm going to contract here. I need a chance to be on the field 70% of the time.
Too bad. Come to work or don't. You're not a superstar. I don't think he has any leverage in that regard. So if that's the case, let him sit out.
Well, he's not with the team right now.
Well, neither is Mac Hollins.
That's true.
So I just think it can't be forgotten that, like, say Drake May is the best passer in the universe. He throws that deep ball. A deep ball is a 2-man job. It requires an elite receiver.
But that's why you're trading for A.J. Brown.
And A.J. Brown will be useful, but he'll also be doubled. He'll also draw more attention. And it's not as if you don't throw him the ball, but if you have a legit deep threat opposite A.J. Brown, who's going against the 3rd best cornerback on the other team, it's going to throw defenses for a loop. It's the exact opposite of what we talked about.
I don't think you can't have only deep routes. You need people who can run. And maybe that's...
Brown can run intermediate routes.
Maybe that's Dobbs. Yeah,
Dobbs is running over the middle.
Who would you say is worth more, Kayshon Boutte or Dontavian Wicks?
Why are you asking me that?
Trade comps. I'm just going to give you some recent trades.
Boutte.
So Wicks went with a 6 for a 5th.
With a 6 for a 5th.
So
that's a waste of time.
Michael Pittman, who needed a new contract.
How old was he?
Yeah, he's older. Okay, so that's not a good comp. Here's a good one. Kayshon Boutte or Jacoby Myers?
Myers.
All right. Well, Myers was Myers and a 6 for a 4th.
Yeah, Myers is a much more accomplished player than Boutte.
John Mechie. That was a player for player. It doesn't work. Yeah, there's not a ton of good comps here.
I just think you're not.
What if it's a player for player trade?
If standing in the way of Kyle Williams is a reason to move him, I think you're making the wrong decision. I think you're doing that on. It's the same as, say, the Red Sox saying, "Oh, Jarren Duran will be great this year." No, he won't.
I think the Kyle Williams thing is part of it, but it's not all of it. I think the big reason is just he doesn't project to play a big role this year, and you're probably not going to re-sign him. It's the old Belichick thing. You're moving on a year too early versus a year too late.
Yeah, but he's making, what, $3 million this year? I think you're a better team with Kayshon Boutte in your wide receiver fold. However it plays out. Maybe that means DeMario Douglas is the odd man out. That's fine. Maybe it means Kyle Williams gets fewer snaps. That's fine, because guess what? Kyle Williams barely played last year, and your quarterback was missed the MVP by 1 vote. So you don't need Kyle Williams. Boutte was a bigger part of that than Kyle Williams will be, and I think can be. I'm down on Kyle Williams, not physically. Just I don't think he's going to get it. Unless you just hope. Unless you're basing this all on hope.
I think at a certain point you have to expect your draft picks to develop. And I know they have that history at wide receiver.
Like Kayshon Boutte did?
They got, yeah. Well, like Pop Douglas did too. I'm still not writing off Pop Douglas. A lot of people are writing off Pop Douglas because that's, to me, if you have A.J. Brown and you have Kyle Williams and you have Mac Hollins, and if you keep Kayshon Boutte, those are all outside guys. You need somebody on the inside. Well, I'm not as goo-goo gaga on Efton Chisholm as everybody else is. Yeah. If Pop Douglas can figure out how to read zone coverage, he can be a 1,000-yard receiver.
And one more thing on that, Hooper's sneaky a big loss in the interior because, like, I don't think Julian Hill is going to be out there replacing him in any way in the
I was not
game.
impressed by Julian Hill at OTAs.
Well, I don't think he's out there to catch passes.
No.
And, like, Eli Raridan is a rookie.
I think you hope it's Eli Raridan.
But I think that's maybe why you go a little heavier on your receiver room this year because, and this is maybe doomsday, like,
yeah,
Hunter Henry has played something like, I don't know, 90% of the snaps since he joined the team 5 years ago. You are kind of due for a bad break there where he gets a helmet to the thigh and has to miss a few weeks. You don't have that interior tight end presence that he's going to rely on. I think you're going to need more receivers. Maybe that opens that spot for Douglas or Chisholm, whatever it may be. But I just, if you can get a good deal for Boutte,
yeah, I
understand it. I just think the way that it's sort of being like he's being discarded as trash is really foolish.
Fair enough. 617-779-0. That sounded very dismissive. I apologize. We're just well past it. Want to get to these calls. I see you guys waiting to talk. Patriots, Red Sox. Got a couple open lines. 617-779-0985. Right to your calls after this.
A deep ball is a two-man job.
Boston's home for sport. Celtics, the Patriots, the Sox, the Revs, and you. We're Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Alex Barth, Michael Hurley. You want to talk Patriots? 617-779-0985. We've done some Red Sox as well if you want to join on that. But to your phones with the Patriots calls, we'll start with Pete in Pembroke. Pete.
Hey, what's up, Barth? How are you?
Good.
Quick question for you. So I'm curious about this Onwenu restructuring and what you're thinking about it in terms of how it's going to benefit the team, how it affects him. And I'm curious with that Rupich, if his play is factoring into it at all. I'll hang up and listen. Thanks.
Thanks for the call, Pete. All right, we've got an Andrew Rupcich question.
It's not Rupcich?
It's Rupcich. Cup.
First, I apologize to the Sports Hub listeners because I said Rupcich all day the other day.
If you missed it with Mike Onwenu, the Patriots restructured his contract. He actually took a little bit of a pay cut in order to get some guaranteed money on his deal. So he had no guaranteed money on his contract. And usually veterans, they want guaranteed money in case they get hurt or something like that. So they gave him some guaranteed money. They took some money off the top. He is in the last year of his deal. They did not add years to it. So the big picture interpretation of that is this is the last year of Mike Onwenu. He's in his age 29 season. He had a good year last year, but they seem to be going towards a more athletic type of offensive lineman, less that big mauler type. They don't have anybody to replace him right now, so they wanted to make sure his contract was taken care of so he didn't hold out or anything. They did open up a little bit of money. I saw some people running to say maybe that's about A.J. Brown, that's about Christian Gonzalez. I guess they
didn't need to.
Right, they didn't need to. I guess it gives them some more flexibility. Maybe if you want to start bringing, what's his name in Arizona, the edge rusher. There's some trade rumors with him, Josh Sweat, into it. But, again, they still could have done it. This was more, to me, bookkeeping.
Well, I'm a big OTC guy. I don't know about you, where you get your contract info. So if you look at the deal he signed in 2024, had $36.5 million of guarantees, and he's already earned $39 million. So, like you said, it guarantees him money this year. Obviously, it lowers the ceiling.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure what would have gotten him to 17.
I don't know. I think the goal was just to make... He probably didn't love he had no guaranteed money. They get to take some money off the top on top of that, so that's a win-win. The bigger takeaway to me from the Mike Onwenu contract is that the offensive line overhaul that they've been undergoing here the last few years, he's not a part of the long term. Is that this is probably his last year here. They're going to move on. And I think I mentioned it in the last segment. It's a year too early versus a year too late. I would you want to give a 30-year-old Mike Onwenu, a guy that is on the bigger side for a lineman? He's listed at 365 here and has struggled to stay healthy at times. Would you want to give that guy a 4-year deal?
Nope.
Right. So
and it's, you get into the draft and development. You had a 6th-round pick in 2020, and you get 6 quality years of offensive line play.
Good career.
Yeah.
Good Patriots career. If this is it for him, so I guess he could really implode this year.
It's not like, say, Shaq Mason, where he still had probably 3 to 4 years.
And where you don't have a replacement. They have some guys in the pipeline that might be able to play there, and they'll have a full offseason to replace them. So, if they take a guard in the first round next year, then we'll look back at this and be like, this is stupid. You should have extended him a year when you reworked his contract. But I trust them to be able to find a starting guard. I don't think we're doing Cole Strange 2.0. I don't.
No. I have his PFF rankings up from last year.
He had career year last year.
7th out of 81 guards.
I actually kind of wondered if they were going to try to trade him this offseason, just with his contract structured the way it was, and it was a good draft for guards. Remember, they were meeting with all those top 100 guards during the pre-draft. It was like, do you trade Onwenu and sell high and take a guard? There was a case for that. There was certainly a case for that. They ended up going another way. I don't think it was something they had to do, but... Okay, as for Rupcich, oddly enough, the second player on the team from NAIA, Culver Stockton.
Of course.
Rupcich played for Vrabel in Tennessee briefly. There's some Vrabel connection at Culver Stockton. I don't know what it is yet, but it's there. He's kind of been a journeyman. He's played in 12 games in 4 years, started 2 of them, was primarily a tackle, joined the Patriots last year on the practice squad. He was playing left guard at OTAs with Elijah Vera Tucker still limited. You can't really judge the performance of it. Maybe he's somebody they view as like a higher caliber backup. They do need another backup guard. There's like it's unclear who their top backup guard is. So maybe it's him. I don't think he's putting Mike Onwenu's job in jeopardy or anything like that, or I don't think he's your future starting right guard.
You mentioned the Landry concern potential.
Yeah.
What about Vera Tucker? I mean, I know it was sort of expected, but to already sort of be there but not be fully participating.
I think there's background concern with it. I'm not any more concerned with him now than I was before. I guess I would say, like, this. I've actually said this, and this is I talk. Backup guard. Like, I'm sorry, you're gonna have. Hopefully, nobody falls asleep while they're driving their cars here. But to run through the depth chart really quickly, on the interior, Jared Wilson at center, solid, good. Mike Onwenu at right guard, good. You got him for another year. Like, we'll worry about that come January, hopefully February. Elijah Tucker, good player when he's healthy. For most of his career, has not been healthy. So you want to have a little bit of elevated depth behind him.
Get Ben Brown.
You have Ben Brown, who I think is a good player. Ben Brown is a fringe starting player. Ben Brown honestly reminds me a lot of Ted Karras.
Yeah, he's a great fourth interior lineman.
Exactly.
Can go in for 4 weeks, you won't even notice.
But he is your backup center and guard. And you have Elijah Vera Tucker, who has an injury history, and you have Jared Wilson, who I like, but if we're putting the cards on the table, is playing center for the first time at the NFL level. So you have him backing up 3 spots. So if Tucker gets hurt, boom, he's in. Now Ben Brown's in the starting lineup. And it's fair to not expect Tucker to play 17 games. After Ben Brown, here are your options on the interior for depth. Andrew Rupsich, Caden Wallace, who, by the way, one of these guys can play center. They're mostly all guards. Rupsich, Caden Wallace, Mekhi Butler, who was a UDFA last year, hung around on the practice squad, and then John Darius Morgan and Jacob Rizzi, who were UDFAs this year. Rizzi can play center. The other guys are all just guards. There's nothing clear there. Maybe they like Rupsich. He's experienced. Maybe there's something untapped in Caden Wallace. I actually think John Darius Morgan can play a little bit. I wonder if he makes a push for that job. This could also be a spot where they end up adding on the waiver wire, like we've seen them do a tackle the last few years. They need another interior guy backup in addition to Ben Brown. Who that is, I don't know. We're not going to know anytime soon. But when you have the injury concerns you do on the line, it's valid, it's important. I know it's not sexy, but it's important. Probably won't hear me talk about it on Thursday with Felger and Maz. I remember one time I was in with them and I told them I wanted to talk about the battle for the third running back spot. And Felger did not take that well.
You should remember like in the old days of sports radio, the headline guy would be in like a little booth, a little glass booth.
Yeah.
Maybe you should do that when you do that because they're going to throw stuff at you. You start doing stuff like that.
There was also, I was on after some Celtics game, and Jaylen Brown had a huge game, and Tatum was back, and my opening take was about Baylor Shireman being better than Sam Hauser, which he is, by the way. And yeah, that didn't go over well.
I like the way Vrabel talked about it the other day. I look up the quote. We're going to have somebody that goes inside, and then we're going to have somebody that pulls it as the backup center. I like that. He pulls it. You got to be able to pull it.
That's how I thought he was just referring to pulling like a pulling guard.
I think he means like snap the ball. Somebody that pulls it as the backup center. He pulls it.
I might have to start using that. That's football guy terminology right there.
I like that. Can you pull it? Yeah, I can pull it. Throw me in the middle, bro.
The Patriots have weighed in on the Meteor.
Oh, really?
5 minutes ago, the official Patriots account tweeting, Drake May just threw a dot. Sorry for the noise, guys. They don't have practice today. So just getting some extra work in. No, it doesn't do it for you?
I appreciate the effort. Just whatever. It's kind of late, too. It's such a corporate thing. Something happens at 2. If you tweet it out at 4:30, it's like you missed the boat.
It is a Saturday.
You missed the boat.
Yeah, I mean, if it had happened right away, there's maybe a little more punch.
I'm sure the social media coordinator had that tweet ready to go at 2:20, but it had to go through 13 layers of approval, and it's like, well, you missed
They are creative. They do have good tweets. So
but also, something you got to remember on X, the everything platform.
Yeah.
What you think everyone is experiencing, literally like 5% of your followers are. So there are people in, I don't know, Arizona right now seeing that tweet like, what are the Patriots talking about?
Well, I find it funny when
but vague posting super in these days. So maybe it's a double beneficial there.
I find it funny, like I'll cover a Celtics game. People are like, why are you tweeting about the Celtics? I follow you for the Patriots. Like, okay. You understand that the vast majority of Patriots fans are also Celtics fans, and also this is my job, right? Like, people get very annoyed when you don't stay in your lane, but I think there's overlap. If I'm tweeting, like I would consider it, Boston sports is one umbrella. I know there's like some people that are like Patriots fans and like, if they're in Connecticut, maybe New York, other sports fans, and they get annoyed with me for tweeting when those teams play each other. Like, it's a Boston sports thing, man. It's all collected.
Do you know, I sort of, I won't say prominence because I never reached prominence, but, I gained, people knew who I was through football mostly.
You're a prominent person.
No.
I remember being in college and just out of college and checking in every day with what you had on Deflategate.
Right. Don't make me feel old.
I thought that was like the coolest thing.
I'm only 25 still. But football was sort of my way. And
I'm 24, so.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
In my mind, it's still February 2019. What's COVID?
Never heard of it. But I would come on this station a lot, and I would do football heavy, Deflategate heavy, and I've always covered every sport. I have baseball like in my blood. I'm a baseball man through and through, and so I'll be it still happens, but less so. I would tweet about like baseball, the number of people mansplaining sports to me, because they'll think that like, oh, he's only a football guy. It's just like, thank you, I appreciate it. The basics of the game being mansplained, and it's just like, it's tough out here being a man in sports.
All of people like, and maybe not so much this year with this Boston Red Sox team, which is already losing 1-0, but
back-to-back doubles to start the game.
They're like,
Sonny Gray.
Oh, how bummed are you that you have to talk about when the Red Sox are good, that you have to cover the Red Sox? I started off covering baseball. Football is my favorite, but I was the voice of the Harwich Mariners in the Cape League. I worked for the Little Spinners.
You're talking to AB from the Little Spinners over here.
That's right. It's like 10 people get that reference.
What was that?
But
was your name too boring for them? They needed to make it
They wanted like a hashtag. They wanted to make it a hashtag. It was @BatAB.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with your name.
No. We were just trying to get creative for social media.
Spinners are back, by the way.
The Spinners are back. I'm excited about that. It's a great time. I love the Lowell Spinners. I loved working there. I went to a couple games growing up. I grew up south of Boston, so we didn't go up to Lowell. We were more Paw Sox family, but
it was always a great way to get in and do a ballpark. You get the dogs, you get the burgers, and it's like affordable. That was the thing. And so when it went away, when Major League Baseball got rid of so many minor league teams, it hurts that. Like, I think that's important for the family experience. You can't go to Fenway that much, but you can go to LeLasher.
Yeah.
Do you know where I won my men's league championship last year?
At LeLasher?
LeLasher, baby. So congrats to the new Lowell Spinners, whatever league that is, the Futures League, right?
Yeah.
They're sharing the field with true greatness.
I saw maybe the longest home run I've ever seen hit in person at LeLasher Park. Remember when the Red Sox signed Brandon Phillips at the end of the 2019 season? He couldn't even play in the playoffs. They just needed a body.
Yeah, he had a walk-off or a ninth-inning homer on the road. Big one.
So he came to Lowell because he hadn't been playing. He came to Lowell to get a couple games in to just kind of catch up. And he took some poor 18-year-old kid fresh out of high school. If you've been to LeLasher, I think he hit it over the river. It was like 460-something. I think I have the video of it somewhere. I'll see if I can find it. First of all, the noise off the bat was just different. Spent the whole summer covering, short season A-ball, and we had some good players. I was there in 18 when the Red Sox drafted Jarren Duran, and he wasn't playing, and he was kind of an afterthought, but they only had 3 outfielders on the team.
Wow.
And one outfielder's name was Cole Brannon, who was a second-round pick and was super hyped, and ended up being not good at baseball, was just fast. He got hurt one day, and they're like, hey, we need somebody to play the outfield. And Jarren Duran was like, I'll do it.
Oh, because he was a second baseman,
paraphrasing
right?
here. Yeah, he was second. And everybody was like, oh, my God, a second baseman who started playing the outfield. He's just like Mookie Betts. But he led that season, even though he didn't start until June, he led all of baseball in triples because the outfield in Lowell was big, and he would just hit it out there and run, and it was a fun summer. But
I was out there last year. I'm like, damn, I hope nobody gets one because I don't have that in me.
Brandon Phillips hit an absolute moonshot off some poor kid at LeLasher Park, and I'll forever remember it. I'm going to try to find it, and we'll take the break, and we'll come back. You want to call in, weigh in, favorite minor league team to go to, whatever that. We talk Patriots, we talk Red Sox, we're talking the Meteor. We got about 25 minutes left here. It's Alex Barth and Michael Hurley on the Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports, 98.5. Sports Hub.
Excellent hitters. Betts and Pierce.
High fly ball. Deep left field. Watch this baby go. It is gone. How about that? Brandon Phillips has put the Red Sox in the lead. 9-8 in the ninth inning. Is that some debut? Goodness gracious.
Reminiscing on Brandon Phillips for some reason. It's Alex Barth, Michael Hurley on the Sports Hub. You want to call and join us, 617-779-0985. As we were just talking about the Lowell Spinners, I did find the game. I couldn't find the clip, but I found the game where Brandon Phillips hit that home run. He hit it off a guy named Miller Hogan, who is currently pitching in Mexico. He never made it to the bigs. But he was relieved in that game by Joe Ryan, who threw 2 scoreless innings. I totally forgot about that. The only other major leaguers playing in that game were Jarren Duran and Ford Proctor.
Of course.
That's it.
There's a video of his first hit with the Spinners online.
Yeah, I found that. I wanted to find the home run. It went, picture a home run that went.
Place was packed.
Well, it was like a big deal when he was there. He was super cool about it, too. He was a really nice guy. Like, we had some guys come through and do rehab stops that were definitely like, all right, like, I'm here for rehab. Like, just get this over with. Phillips was super into it. He was super into, like, talking to the younger players and things like that. And, Rochi's at Spinners opening day. That's pretty cool.
Did you, one time, when I worked in Providence as an intern, we had all the Paw Sox, all those rehab stints. I'd say the weirdest one was Bartolo Colon.
Oh, how'd that go?
So he came, he pitched an inning or two, and then worked out. So we had to go meet him in the weight room. And I'm there like a 20-year-old, 21-year-old kid. I got the microphone for the camera. And he's there just pouring sweat. Just the sweatiest man you've ever seen. He's in like a sleeveless sort of workout shirt. And he talks, and you get that in Spanish. But then his interpreter was on his right shoulder, and I'm on the other side. So I'm reaching across a intensely sweaty Bartolo Colon. Just like, please don't touch him. Please don't touch his boobs. Please don't run into him. Just like, and like, you know when you're holding the mic for too long, it starts to shake, and you're like, oh, straighten out. We can't hit Bartolo Colon. So that was probably one of the most stressful rehab interview situations I've ever had.
We had Steve Pierce. After he won the World Series MVP, we got him in 19. Because remember, he tried to come back the next year and just couldn't.
Didn't they sign him?
They re-signed him.
Dombrowski just was like, everyone gets a contract. We won.
And he appeared in 29 games. He had a $180 at age 36. Yeah, he was done. He came to Lowell at one point, and he did not want to be there. He was like, all right, come on. Because I think he was supposed to be with the Paw Sox, but the Paw Sox were on the road. Yeah, he played 2 games in Lowell that year. I think he left in like the 6th inning of both games.
Hey, Steve, there's a lot to like about Lowell. Get your head on
Love
straight.
Lowell. I worked for UMass Lowell, too. I've spent some time in Lowell.
There's a lot to like
Riverhawks.
about Lowell.
I did miss the, what were they, the Lock Monsters?
Yeah.
The hockey team?
Yeah.
I did not overlap with the Lock Monsters.
They weren't the Kings, were they?
Were they the Devils?
Yeah.
Devils.
That sounds more right.
I mean,
the Kings are in Manchester, right? The Monarchs.
Yes.
Which is always, I always thought.
They were the Kings at one point. They were the Islanders, the Kings, the Hurricanes, the Flames, the Avalanche, and then the Devils.
I always would think, like, if the Bruins need a player from Providence, you put him in a car and he'll be here in an hour.
Yeah.
If the Kings need a player from Manchester, it's like, well, see you tomorrow.
Well, they didn't have minor league hockey on the West Coast for a long time.
They couldn't
and then
sustain it, support it.
That's what I like. Why is Greenville still a Red Sox affiliate, but Lowell isn't?
Well, that's a whole nother. Didn't they get rid of like?
I understand why.
I
understand why it is, but it's just like, come on.
I watched a video of a guy who is retired and lives in an apartment that overlooks the Greenville Stadium.
Yeah,
and it's like, this is my dream. It's like, all right, I guess. If that's what gets you going.
It's a lot of free baseball. They have that in Worcester.
I would like it. I wouldn't say it's my dream.
Have you been to Polar Park yet?
I haven't been yet. I got to get there.
I went last year. First of all, go with Tim McCone because he's like the mayor of Worcester. And he's the guy you want to walk around with.
Do you know we share an alma mater, Tim McCone and I?
No.
Roger Williams University.
Okay. When I think of McCone, I just think of UConn.
I know.
Are you also a diehard UConn fan?
I'm not. And actually, I hold a grudge against Gino because he cost me a free couch this year.
Oh, that's right.
Famously, Gino couldn't get to the freaking Final Four with the best team in the country and had to start fights along the way with it.
And you had to pay for a couch.
Still paying. 0% financing. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I don't like Dabo Sweeney for a similar reason. But, okay. What's Roger Williams' mascot?
The Hawks. Go Hawks.
Hawks.
No football. They have hockey now, which is interesting to me.
D3 college hockey. I've called D3 college hockey back in my play-by-play days. D3 college hockey's fun.
Super high school hockey, basically.
Yeah, kind of.
All the kids that were good in high school, but not
everybody's just trying to put together highlight tape, so it's the most like reckless
toe drags.
Yeah, everybody's just all gas, no brakes. Nobody's playing conservative. Nobody's thinking about protecting the puck. Everybody just wants to score a million goals. It's not and I say this complimentary. Like it's a fun brand of hockey to watch.
We're not where you want to go as a goaltender. If we're bouncing around, Barth, can I bring something up?
Sure.
This is really pressing to me.
Yeah.
And it's relevant this weekend with the Red Sox in Cleveland and the Guardians wearing some of the worst jerseys in the history.
Are these technically their City Connects? Okay.
And I think the CLE on the jersey is made to look like the bridge where the Guardian statues are. So I
did not get that.
It looks like that, but it says Cle on the front. I don't know if this is an old man thing, but I don't think it is. I think 98% of these City Connect jerseys suck and make Major League Baseball games look like jokes.
I think they were good at the beginning. And now that like you see some teams going through like their second iteration of the City Connect, they're running out of ideas. I just want to know when the Yankees are going to have to do it. Supposedly everybody was going to have to do it.
Judge wants them to.
And the Yankees dodged it. And they remember when they refused to wear their road uniforms when the Red Sox played them in London? The Yankees being snobby like that always bugs me. I actually don't hate these. As far as City Connects go, these are not bad.
We've seen some dumb ones this year.
We've seen some bad ones.
The Astros look ridiculous. They're not even doing the Space City ones. I forget what they look like.
So the Space City ones were good, if I remember correctly.
They were okay, but like some of these things, you put on the game and you're like, what are we doing?
Right, which team is this?
The Brewers have the Wisco.
I like the Brewers ones. The Brewers ones are good.
I don't know. There's some silly ones.
The Baltimore ones are good.
You like a jersey that says Be More on it?
So I don't like the Be More, but like the colors and all that and the font is good. The ones I really hate are the ones where they go like the Reds where it's all red or they had an all black one. Wear white pants.
I actually like the Guardians pants. They're sick pants.
So I don't like it when baseball uniforms are, unless it's all white or all gray. Like I don't like the monotone look.
There's something NBA-ish about it. Like I've been saying this for years. You could walk into a bar and if a TV is off in the distance, see an NBA game and you might not know who's playing.
So
because there's so many jerseys, every team has 5. You don't know who's wearing what. The green team's wearing purple and the blue team's wearing green.
This happened to my aunt. My aunt is from New York, but has never been a big sports fan. And I think she's with her husband. She's with somebody. And the basketball game is on in the background. And it was during the Sixers series. And I think the Sixers were wearing blue and the Knicks were wearing like black. And she thought the Knicks lost.
Yeah.
She didn't understand why everybody was cheering. I will say, City Connect did the NFL rivalries jerseys last year. Talk about the monochrome. It was all just all black or all white alternates. The Patriots got like a slightly different color. And that was kind of it. The Niners one was all black, but it was good. But the Cardinals were all black.
The Jets was bad.
The Jets, it was dark green, but it was all black.
Horrible.
The Dolphins were all black. The Rams were all black. The Bills were all white. The Seahawks were all
Cardinals was like when you get it
looks like a tortilla.
Like a nice golf shirt with like the speckles on it.
Yeah.
There wasn't much to it.
The Cardinals one was fine, but it was like, it's not creative. You're just doing a black alternate or a white alternate.
Yeah, the Rams one looked like a Rams jersey.
Right, it was just a black Rams jersey. The Niners one was just a black Niners jersey.
The Dolphins one was all right. I think they probably had the best one.
Okay.
But I think bringing it home, I think the yellow jerseys have run their course here with the Red Sox.
I would be all right if they just wore the marathon weekend. I think it's like a once-a-year thing. They're cool.
And it's just like you get the Friday night greens, you get the Saturday yellows, you go back to the regular home whites on Sunday. It's like the home white's not really the home white anymore.
Yeah, especially they don't wear it on the weekend, and that's when everybody's going.
They wore red last night on the road, probably because they couldn't wear blue because with those ridiculous Cleveland jerseys. I think the City Connect thing makes it look like junk. Makes the Major League Baseball games look like junk. I have to get that off my chest.
How do you feel about the green ones?
I like the green ones.
The green ones are good.
They make sense. The
green ones are good.
They look right. You know?
do.
And but the problem is that the next day you do yellow.
Right.
If you did green, white,
great.
Just Friday night, that's fine.
I'd be in on that. Yeah, it's a little too all over the place. I don't think these Guardian ones are bad though. I'll tell you this about the Red Sox jerseys.
You like shortened city names, don't you? Clee, Beemore.
Some cities can get away with it. I wouldn't want a jersey that says BOS. I wouldn't want that. But like Atlanta can get away with it. All right, well, we're doing dumb sports
excuse me?
Aesthetic things. I have one for you. I realized this the other day and it annoyed me, and I don't know why it annoys me. The abbreviation for the Las Vegas Raiders is what?
LVR?
Or LV. But yeah. What is the abbreviation for the Vegas Golden Knights?
VGK. Because they're not the Las Vegas Golden Knights.
Can you name another city outside of the White Sox? Chicago has more than one baseball team. New York, LA, right? A team that just has one team in each sport. Can you name another city where the different teams have different abbreviations?
It's a good example because I can't think of one. The only thing I can think of is maybe Tampa Bay and not being a city, but we don't say TAM. We put
So
TE.
that's another pet peeve of mine that's unrelated. The city is Tampa. Tampa Bay is the water. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Tampa Bay Lightning and Rays are the only sports teams that represent fish and not people.
And the baseball team plays in St. Petersburg.
That is also true. But at least St. Petersburg is city. But St. Petersburg Rays sounds horrible. I don't want to say St. Petersburg Rays. But I always write out Tampa. I never write out Tampa Bay because Tampa's
not
the city.
A place. Not a place.
But is there another city where the abbreviations... No, they're all BOS.
You have NE.
Well, that's it, but they're not the Boston Patriots. When they were the Boston Patriots, they were BOS.
Yeah.
I love it. Like Arizona, I used to abbreviate it to ARI once upon a time. I think
you know what?
ARZ.
No, you're right. Because some...
the Diamondbacks?
The Diamondbacks use, I think, AZ, not ARI.
Really?
State abbreviation. Right?
Yeah. And I think the Cardinals use AZ. George, you might have nailed it.
Yeah, or ARZ is the one that I would go for the 3 letters. But yeah, it's hard to... I can't stand the Vegas abbreviation as well. They should just be LV.
Where'd the loss go? Where'd the loss go?
Right.
I also, they should have just been the Las Vegas Knights. That was so easy. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll wrap it up. It's Alex Barth and Michael Hurley here on the Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub. Boston sports, yeah, we got that covered. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
In the Red Sox game?
It's almost unbelievable. The guy who sends everyone at all times with a brutal hold, a brutal stop sign.
Who was that who hit that?
Rafaela.
So Rafaela hits a line drive to right field, gets to the wall. The right fielder plays it horribly off the wall, has to run to track it down. Duran was on first, and they held him at third. They're not scoring this inning. So now it's second and third, one out.
That throw was
50
feet off line,
and
which you don't know. But even a perfect throw wouldn't have got Jarren Duran.
Right, it's Jarren Duran. If you hold anybody else there, I'm probably holding, honestly. Especially when you're struggling to score runs.
I'd probably send Duran, Rafaela.
Chad Epperson is the interim third base coach.
Yeah,
that's the one you want to blame.
Constantly beefing it over there.
This guy on the mound for the Guardians, by the way, is a tank. Parker Messick.
Cy Young candidate.
6 foot 225. Yeah, you pointed this out earlier. He's
though the ESPN Cy Young predictor has their closer as the leader in that category. So I'm not sure of the science behind it.
See the next Eric Gagne?
No.
Gagne's the last
20
reliever,
saves,
right? He's got 20 saves already?
How many wins does Cleveland have?
That's kind of crazy. There's just 34.
Tops in the AL
just
Central.
only playing close
34
games.
and 25.
Yeah.
There's two out.
I don't think you want to close a save in 20 of your 34 wins, but that's what you got to do when you're a mid-market team.
So, Hurley, last time we did a show together, we spent a good chunk of it talking about how the Red Sox are disappointing and there probably wasn't going to be much of a season. And do you allow Craig Breslow to dictate the future of the team? And here we are 2 weeks later, and I think we are in the exact same place. I don't think we're scheduled together for the next couple of weeks. I don't believe.
I don't think so.
I think I'm with McCarthy one day, Cerrone one day, and then solo my next couple shifts. But next time we're on together, where do you think the Red Sox are going to be? Probably in the same place, right?
Probably 14 games under 500.
I'd mean they play close to 500 ball for at least a couple weeks.
They're all they can't. They're scheduled. They have the Yankees next weekend. That's not going to go.
I'm not going to enjoy that.
I don't think that'll go too well for them. They've got.
Although it would be hilarious. The years where they're really bad, but they still own the Yankees are sneaky fun.
Well, I feel like for 20 years when they played 18 games against each other, no matter what, no matter how it started, whatever, they'd end the year 9-9 or one game off
right
every year against the Yankees. It was pretty crazy. So they might get some wins against Baltimore at home. I don't know. They're terrible at Fenway, so maybe not. At the Yankees, at the Rays, against Texas, against Toronto, at Seattle, it's not going well. Barth, I don't see it. I don't see them having the talent to get out of this, and it's entirely the makeup of the roster. I hate to be in a position where I'm dismissive or kind of a jerk about Mickey Gasper. That's a player you like to
Yeah.
But when he keeps coming up in the eighth inning and they have nobody better, you're like, what is this team?
Mickey Gasper reminds me a little bit of Darnell McDonald. I liked Darnell McDonald. I didn't want Darnell McDonald to be the best player on the team.
Right.
That's kind of where I'm at with Mickey Gasper.
Yeah, and you don't want to be a jerk about it and be dismissive. Barth called it.
They didn't score.
Barth called it. No runs.
They did not score. Nick Sogard grounded out to third.
Abreu strikeout with that one out as well.
Where do we... I think, they changed the whole coaching staff. You don't really think much about the third base coach because, you only notice them when they're bad. Chad Epperson's been horrible as a third base coach. And in a team that can't score runs and every run matters, he's probably pushing the envelope. And today he did the exact opposite. You got to love it, Barth.
Do you think there were some rumblings when they first fired Cora that Tracy could end up being the guy long term?
No.
How do you feel about that now?
He is not only visually, but he is a Craig Breslow clone. He smiles when he talks. I don't like guys that smile at all times when they talk. They'll lose a fifth straight game and he'll go to the podium and be like, or sit at his press conference and be like, we're close. We're right there. It's I don't have any time for this. This is baseball. Give me a baseball man. Give me a 68-year-old grump who's been in the dugout since the 70s. They need baseball guys back in that organization, not these weirdos. No disrespect. That's kind of disrespectful, but
Theo Epstein's loosely in the organization.
Theo, save the Red Sox.
Where are you, Theo?
Save the Reds. I've put it out from this studio before, the bat signal for Theo. Just put it out in the sky in Boston. Theo, you are needed to save the Red Sox again.
Hopefully it doesn't get smoked by the next meteor.
I don't know who else can save them.
I'll always know where I was for the meteor. I was with you, Michael Hurley. This was fun.
Lucky to be alive.
Hopefully we get to do it again soon. I'll be back on next week. I'm on Friday. Next week I'm on Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And I'm on Felger Mass Thursday. So I'll talk to you then. More on 98.5thesportshub.com. Hurley.
Peace out.
Stuff as always. George Spolvita behind the glass. Great show, man. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.